And then so I says, well, I'm not the one who had them last servo. Maybe if you watched over your own underwear better, you'd know. Am I on? Greetings, my friends. I am the amazing, all-knowing Crowswell, and you're not. We are all interested in the internet, for that is where you and I spend most of our lives. And remember, my friend, podcasting events such as these may affect you in the future, though probably not, but why take the chance? Now, for the first time, we are bringing to you the full story of what happened on that fateful Skype chat a couple of days ago. Let us punish the guilty, but mostly David. Let us reward the innocent. We cannot keep it a secret any longer. Can your heart stand the shocking facts about demons from outer space? What, did I say the wrong one? Well, maybe next time you can fix the monitor so I don't look like a jackass. Can your heart stand the shocking facts about the Sons of Serizawa podcast from outer space? Ooh.
A much belated episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. I regret to inform you I don't exactly know the episode number. Maybe episode 98, potentially. There's always the possibility, the hope.
Oh no, this is gonna suck then.
That's not good. That's not a good number.
Oh, that's a good
Are
point.
we gonna have a P Diddy Puff Daddy soundtrack with this podcast?
I feel like if we did, we'd get a lot more views, so maybe we should do that.
Yeah.
Why couldn't why couldn't it have been number 69 or
that was
some
really
shit?
good, Brayton. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
We have many people here tonight, as you've already heard. Joining me, as he often does his, I think it's his best, and that often disturbs me. David Joshua Hernandez. He's better known as Gorzard.
You want me to say hello?
If you have to.
But what will my niggas think of me?
If you say hello, I don't know. What do they think of you when you usually say hello to them? Do you usually say something else?
No, I make some weird hand signs as a sign of hello.
This is a podcasting medium, so unfortunately that's not... Unless you want to do it with the microphone. David, you know what? You've said enough. We also have Dylan McCandless, Super DM64.
Hi.
Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir, fills out our typical ranks.
I can confirm that this is indeed episode 98.
Thank you very much, Andres, for confirming our worst nightmares. Speaking of...
So is this episode going to contain a lot of fish?
Well, we'll leave that up to our very special returning guest and often curator of the intros that you see before each and every episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. We have Brayton Connor returning with us tonight.
Hello, it's lovely to be here. It's lovely to talk to you, Bill, Andres, Dylan. You know, it's great to talk to you guys. Yeah, it's wonderful to be here. Yeah.
But you're here for...
Yay.
Notice I didn't mention David there because, you know...
Well, you're here for a very particular reason on David's account.
Right.
So... We'll get we'll get into more of it later, but Brayton is here, obviously. I mean, you can all tell. When Brayton is here, he's here for one reason. He's here to compete in a... Well,
lose.
Andre's still be involved too, but it's mostly David and Brayton here to challenge to see who knows more about conspiracy theories and paranormal shit. We'll talk about more of the specific theme of that later, but that is going to be the majority of this episode, seeing who can outdo the other.
God, I'm matching wits with David. What does this come to?
Well, Andres is there to remind you of sanity, so at least that's why I have you on here, because Dylan helps me craft the questions for your three specific minds, and it creates an environment where you all feel really stressed out and challenged by the other one's wits, because none of you know what the fuck we're talking about. It's perfect.
Yeah.
This is a hostile work environment.
That is you always saying.
Well, no, I feel like when I'm competing with David, because he's not entirely stupid, because he knows some weird shit.
No, he's crafty.
It's just
he's dangerous.
It's like competing in a trivia game with like a chimpanzee or something, where like they're unpredictable. And with Andres, it's kind of like competing
I
with a
only
computer.
pretend to be stupid.
Right.
Either of them could throw their feces at you. That's the weird thing. You got to look out.
And often do, yes.
So Brayton, thanks for coming on.
What are you implying about us Latinos, Bill?
Yeah, are you guys comparing the two brown members of the podcast?
To the whitest member of this current podcast?
Now I definitely am. Yep.
Andres, a paradox of a man, both the brownest and whitest members of the
Build up a
SOS.
wall around my opinions, sir. I'll have you know. They're stalwart. I never change them. Just look back at Godzilla Palooza. All right. So, Andres Perez, Kaiju Noir. It's time for you to get vague before we get hardcore with the gaming. So, why don't you get right into that?
Okay, so
what are you going to try or may not make us care about tonight?
Okay, so we got some. The first bit of news comes from IDW concerning their long-running Transformers continuity, as it was announced this week that from James Roberts that the current IDW continuity of Transformers, which has been going on since IDW acquired the license in 2005, will be coming to an end this year.
But don't they have like 15 running at once?
All in one single continuity, and all of that will be coming.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So
Are they-
let's see. Yeah.
Are they rebooting, or are they just sick of the transforming robots already?
Oh, they're still going to have a lot of plans for Transformers in the future afterwards. So it's not like IDW is going to lose the thing that made it popular when it first started back almost like 13 years ago.
They're fighting for some shared universe like everybody else, right? And they'll probably redesign it to be more honed to that. Because they tried that with the Revolution deal. And I think it was probably moderately successful, but now they're going to try and probably push for it as their only deal. Like, your only Transformers will also be connected to your only G.I. Joe and your only everything else that's in that continuity. Because I think right now they have their little shared universe, and then they still have individual books for everything else.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know right now their IDW, a lot of people have praised, a lot of Transformers fans especially have praised the IDW comics for taking the series and going up in directions that fans have only dreamed of ever seeing and doing some crazy things. The craziest I've ever heard of was that they actually turned Megatron into an Autobot.
I was literally about to ask that. Didn't he get like a Vegeta thing where he briefly decided, all right, you know what, fuck it, I'll go good.
Yeah. I think it's like has been a permanent change where he actually befriends Bumblebee. Bumblebee sacrifices his life. Megatron was inspired by that and said, you know what, I'm gonna change my ways. I want to do something to actually benefit the people of Cybertron rather than doing something that can, doom us all.
And Optimus was dead at that point, right?
I'm not sure because I only know like vague
I can't imagine
hints here
that
and
would
there.
they could possibly like Optimus could still be in charge and Megatron would be like, I'm one of you now, and Optimus would be like, yeah.
I'm not sure because I
think
remember
Optimus
seeing
would
this,
be like, no, your head's off, man. Like, there's been some.
No, actually,
you've done
like,
some weird shit to me over the years. Like, this is not cool. There's some personal shit between us that needs to be settled.
I think there was like this one conversation between Optimus and Megatron that I read online where Optimus Prime has Megatron captured and he frees him and says like, let's sit down and just have a talk. And it's like Megatron and Optimus is like, we've been at this for like hundreds of years. I'm tired. I know you're tired. Can we just stop this? Is there any way we can put an end to all of this? So I can imagine Optimus would be willing to give Megatron a chance because, hey, that's the ideal version of Optimus Prime. Then again,
maybe my Optimus Prime is a bloodier Optimus Prime than yours.
So your Optimus Prime is the movie Prime.
Yeah, I guess it's been influenced by that now.
shooting Sentinel Prime like in cold blood.
That'll forever haunt me. Yeah, that forever changed.
No,
me.
Optimus! Boom!
And he blows his head off, and then Megatron's like, maybe we shouldn't do this anymore. He just rips him in half. He's like, nah, bro, we done. You're gonna be a weird truck in the next one. It's gonna suck for you.
All right, so let's see. To quote what James Roberts says. on Twitter. He said, to summarize, the current IDW G1 continuity will end spectacularly with Unicron number 6, Optimus Prime number 25, and Lost Light number 25, all in September. All three are bi-weekly over summer. We've had time to plan for the end, so it's a proper, unrushed wrap-up. Beyond September, new IDW Transformers comics, new continuity. Lost Light will end in the way I always intended this to end, so I'm pleased. I'm so pleased I can say that. Issue number 16 marks the start of a 10-part series finale that is huge in scope. Expect things to get bigger and deadlier and madder and weirder until the end of the quest. So yeah, now anybody who ever wants to get into IDW Transformers, now you'll have a complete continuity that you can pick and choose from. And someone who is interested, casually interested in Transformers, I've always had this interest in getting into the IDW comics, hearing the positive word of mouth. So yeah, I'd love to hear what sort of best stories are in there. I know I started really paying attention to the IDW comics once they started affecting the toy lines, where they came out with Combiner Wars, Titans Return, and now they got this new thing called Power of the Primes. And of course, there were those machinima shows, web series that were influenced by the comics. Although I hear the machinima CGI shows are quite terrible.
The ones that got Jason David Frank to do a voice and everything. And
right.
And Will Wheaton.
Yeah. So yeah, do you guys have any thoughts? Do you care about this vague news? I'll take that as a no.
Well, IDW has done a good job of providing versions of a lot of these kind of characters for older fans. They've done it for the Turtles and G.I. Joe and Godzilla and Star Trek and a bunch of stuff, a bunch of franchises that a lot of the versions that are currently big budget, TV shows and movies, older fans ain't happy with them. So they have these more traditional comic versions that still take the characters in new directions. Hell, Ghostbusters is a great example. That still takes those characters in new directions. So I'm glad that Transformers has a whole lot of that. But it already did, though. That's the thing. The Marvel comics from way back in the day are also apparently crazy good. So Transformers has no lack of good comics out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I do kind of care. Fuck you. No.
Okay.
Anyone
else?
You got me to care. Look at that. The title worked for once.
I may actually get into it now since they'll probably release a paperback or an omnibus.
Yeah.
Not all of it in one. It'll be like
no. This
is great tome.
It's not going to be like omnibus.
The IDW Transformers to listen to until we're dead.
I'm hoping at the very least they'll just put some compile a bunch of stories together, like I mentioned, Combiner Wars or whatever, and just make it more easier for people to get into specific storylines.
Hopefully they put it out in a way that makes sense. They've gone back to their Godzilla stuff and done a pretty good job. Although I don't know if they'll do much more since now they're done.
Oh yeah, it's haven't they yet to actually release? What was it called? Complete Rulers of Earth Volume 2?
I don't think they did the Volume 2 of that, but I think everything else they've done pretty good combined versions of. So it's a traditional history for American Godzilla comics, though, just because of the way the contract works with Toho. I think the second that's done, they're like, we ain't touching that because we don't want to get their lawyers going.
Yeah.
Hounds.
All right, then. So I guess moving on, this is something that kind of affects a particular channel dedicated towards children entertainment that is near and dear to all of us, and that is Nickelodeon, particularly when it comes to their partnership with producer Dan Schneider. Now, I want to know if any of you remember or have ever heard of the name Dan Schneider and the name and the person's relationship to Nickelodeon.
Drake and Josh?
Exactly.
Okay.
I think ever since maybe not Drake and Josh. I want to say maybe the days of All That and the Amanda Show.
Yeah, he was
Dan Schneider.
Drake Bell's in all that, and so was Josh Peck. So I imagine he probably goes back to those days.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Nickelodeon and Dan Schneider have opted to end their longtime partnership, and after many Schneider, former actor whose credits include Head of the Class, has a history with the kid-focused network that dates back to the 1990s when he met with Nickelodeon, who hired him to work on the sketch comedy, all that. He would quit the series after 4 seasons before being asked to revive it again in 2001. Schneider's Nickelodeon programs have included The Amanda Show, What I Like About You, Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, iCarly, Victoria, Sam and Cat,
What I Like
and
About
more.
You was on Nickelodeon back in the day?
That name is vaguely familiar to me. I don't remember where it's from.
I've
but
watched
I guess
that show in reruns briefly back on but it was not on Nickelodeon. It was on one of the Fox networks. That's weird.
Like
it's weird that
maybe it
was
was
on Nickelodeon.
maybe it was owned. Maybe both of them are owned by the same subsidiary companies.
Possible.
Who owns Nickelodeon? Viacom? Or no, that's probably Cartoon Network.
Paramount
No,
is Nickelodeon.
Paramount,
It's not Fox.
Cartoon Network is owned by Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Turner Broadcast. Yeah.
And they're all Time Warner.
Time Warner.
They're all
yeah.
Time. Well, they're all Time Warner. Not
Yeah.
all of them. All that stuff's Time Warner, and then Paramount, and I think Paramount and Viacom are all in bed together. I'm pretty sure that's still a thing. If you see a Paramount title card, it says a Viacom company. And then if you watch the Ninja Turtles movies, you'll see a Nickelodeon logo after that. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, true. Let's see. He helped launch the careers of Kenan Thompson, Amanda Bynes, Victoria Justice, Miranda Crossgrove, Jeanette McCurdy, among others. Let's see. Deadline was the first to report Schneider's split from Nickelodeon. Schneider's most recent creation, Game Shakers, was recently canceled after its 3rd season. Let's see. Nickelodeon has wrapped up production. We are proud of the show's success, and Nickelodeon says that they're proud of their dedicated, talented cast and crew. Let's see. So, yeah, it looks
shit
like...
talking? No shit throwing?
No shit talking here. Although, it's really funny. If any of you have been, looking up, or any of you, I'm not sure if any of you have heard this, but there's been, a lot of strong rumors throughout the last couple of years about Dan Schneider and his supposed pedophilic foot fetish. Because a lot of people have pointed out that in every one of his shows, there are multiple episodes where you get to see these underage girls, bare naked feet. And everyone
He's the Quentin Tarantino of Nickelodeon. It's wonderful.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
And so everybody has kind of made up the not made up the assumption, or have kind of created this rumor that Dan Schneider is a secret foot fetishist who includes his kinks into all of his TV shows.
That ruins iCarly for me.
So anytime you see a girl's bare feet in any of these shows, just remember what this might have come from.
Oh, I'll try. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, those shows, any kid show I've gone back to, there are always weird moments. You can tell the writers are going, I need to get weird. There's a moment where they just need to let out the fact that they're an adult making something for kids, and it's always weird where it comes out. Because sometimes they have to be really subtle about it, so that way nobody picks up on it. There'll be some element of the plot where you're like, oh, this is clearly some writer went through this and they're working into the story. Or in the background, you'll just see some guy with a fucking dildo or something, and you're like, oh, well, that's that guy. Some animator had a weird sex kid and throw it in there. Crucial.
Also, if you happen to have seen Dan Schneider himself, I mean, I hate to judge people based on their appearances, but if you look at Dan Schneider, you can be like, yeah, this guy looks like he's up to something fishy here.
Hi, Andres, because he's white. No,
Oh, come on. He looks like a charming blowfish. What is wrong with him? I'd invite him over for tea.
You know what they say?
And then ask him to leave immediately thereafter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he'll be having the tea, and then he'll just fucking blow up, and that's how he lures you in.
Right. Comes into my house and makes a mess everywhere. How dare you?
And I just shared a link.
It's a weird crime scene. I've never seen a sex kink act like this. I've never seen a porcupine kink done quite so poorly.
Okay, sure, but did he actually have any input into the shape of the Nickelodeon sign?
No, I don't think so. Maybe that gave him the inspiration. That was the bad crashing through his door, through his window.
Like Oprah in that episode of Drake and Josh.
Yep. So yeah,
You think that's how he gets all the stars for his shows? He just hits them with cars and then picks John
that wasn't
Goodman
actually
style.
Oprah, Brayton.
It wasn't?
No, she was.
You've ruined the magic for me,
I'm
Bill.
sorry. I'm sorry. I was literally
What's
about
this?
to say. I wonder where that stunt actress who played Oprah for those 2 shots is now. Although one of them I'm sure was a dummy, but the first one where you see her face for like a second, that's got to be some actress. But she's black. That's one thing, we know that. And then she's got sunglasses and big hair, so that's kind of all you need for your typical.
Really narrows it down. Yeah.
For your typical American young adult to understand that that's Oprah. And especially 2 seconds later when Josh says, "I just hit Oprah."
Yeah.
It
See,
cements it for you.
that's kind of the same thing which happens in Ready Player One with Mechagodzilla, where it's like, oh shit, hey look, it's Mechagodzilla. Oh thanks, yeah.
It's like,
thank you.
all right, well,
Yeah.
thanks for confirming it for me, even though I
thought you were-
figured.
I thought you were going to tell me that happens in A Wrinkle in Time, and I was going to be like, I'm suddenly interested in seeing this movie.
That's how they introduce that character. Is just
If there's a scene where fucking Josh Peck just walks into the movie and decks Oprah.
just drives in via a car and just runs her over.
Or what's that that recent Drake and Josh meme? It's like, I think we're in trouble now. Why? Is it because you just decked Oprah? No, it's because it's feeling a bit human. Yes, because I just decked out an Oprah.
Oh yeah, just Drake and Josh was a good show back in the day.
Yes, it was. It helped us find a way.
I found my way to bed oftentimes after that show. I had many dreams of Big Shrimp. That was a plot point at one point, I remember. There was one episode where a monkey was going to be consumed by a man. It was a weird show. It was an odd show. It took some weird turns.
You can thank Dan Schneider for that.
Thanks, Dan. Sorry you're leaving, buddy. So what's the final story?
Maybe that's what he does with his actresses. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
He turns them into monkeys and then he eats them.
Yeah.
I guess that makes it easier? Question mark?
Probably
No.
eats their feet.
No, because monkeys have that, monkey strength. He would have been better off
Is that
just
what it-
eating...
is that a scientific term, Dylan?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he would have been better off just trying to eat Miranda Cosgrove.
He probably did. That's
their
why they.
feet as
That's why they made.
tokens.
That's why they made iCarly just so she could shut up. We're sorry he tried to eat you. Will you make a show? Sure. Well, with him. Oh,
Or imagine if, the guy who played Crazy Steve, it's like, okay, I know you saw, he happened to catch Dan Schneider eating one of his meals, and then it's like, okay, we'll give you a starring role in another show of ours if you shut up about this.
It turns out one of Miranda Cosgrove's feet is a prosthetic foot. We never figured it out.
He doesn't even eat them. He consumes them like Orga. It's really disgusting.
Oh
It's-
my
it's-
God.
It's quite strange.
Or like
It's like, give me
Android
one of your feet.
21 in Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z, excuse me, where she turns them into desserts and then eats them.
Ooh. Let's see. But imagine it's like, he goes up to Miranda Cosgrove. He's like, give me one of your feet and I'll give you the starring role of your own show.
That's how it worked.
That's a small price to pay.
It's show business.
By the way, Andres,
It's
thanks
like
for the nightmares of that link you fucking shared. I can't unsee that crap now.
All right, so moving on to our last story. Now, this concerns the reboot that is coming soon to Netflix,
Say that 10
and
times fast.
let's see, I will not. So a lot of people,
David started to, and he was like, "No, I'm not gonna. I ain't about that life."
So as I mentioned last time we talked about the reboot, everybody was, there's a huge amount of backlash. There were more dislikes than likes on the original trailer. The reboot people were trying to censor negative comments, trying to, it was like a PR disaster. Well, to make things worse, there was an apparent leak from one of the animators who worked on the show. And if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to read through exactly what he said, maybe as this person supposedly attempts to explain what the hell is going on behind the scenes, and it looks like it's a complete train wreck.
Great. I love to watch train wrecks. It's my favorite thing. I sit by railroad tracks, just like, oh god, my deepest hope.
It's my favorite wreck.
Bill doesn't even try to help the victims.
No, obviously, of course not. I mean, I pray.
He just has his popcorn in his, eating his popcorn on his lawn chair.
I mean, I pray for them, of course. I mean, yeah, that's.
Yeah,
thoughts and prayers. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what this person said, allegedly. I feel like you guys deserve an explanation, and since I can't talk publicly about this without putting my job in danger, I'll post this here.
I'm going to talk publicly about it on the internet.
Here, where everybody will think I'm LARPing. Everybody that was working on this show knew this backlash was coming, but Hefferson had his head so far up his ass, he wouldn't listen to anybody, and nobody could really tell him to smarten up since he owns the whole company. Since he owns the whole company, any ideas he came up with was put in no matter how stupid. Hell, sometimes he brought his kid into reviews and had the kid give notes. Also, fun fact, the main character shares a name with his kid, and the main character's father's name is the name of his assistant. The production itself was a massive disaster as well. Hefferson got sold on using the Unreal Engine for lighting and rendering the series, despite Rainmaker having a superb traditional CG pipeline because the first and for those who don't know, Rainmaker is the company that produced the original Reboot as well as Beast Wars and some other shows down the line like the Ratchet and Clank movie. Because the first Reboot was the first CG show on television, he wanted to make this show a first as well. So it's the first Unreal Game Engine show on TV. To compound that,
this is gonna look even worse than how it looked in that trailer we watched back in the day.
To compound that problem, those of us that came over from a traditional pipeline were given next to no training on Unreal, so we were figuring it out as we went along. The guy that was supposed to be the big know-it-all guy about Unreal ended up being completely incompetent at his job, but was great at kissing Michael's ass. I'm guessing Michael is Hefferson's first name, and creating conflict by going behind the art and animation directors' backs. Also, wouldn't be surprised if a #MeToo story comes out about this guy, as he was just creepy in general with the girls on the team. The project also went through a number of different art directors as they got fed up and quit due to the related issues. This, of course, caused a lot of issues to the point where most of the environments in the show were just improvised off of single concept images. Also, in the trailer, you might notice that some of the CG shots look extremely crappy and some look good. Here's why that is. The creepy kiss-up guy from earlier convinced Hefferson early on that Reboot wouldn't need a team of lighters, since the game engine would do that automatically for us. So for the first few episodes, there was no team dedicated to lighting the shots, so it fell to the world builders to light those episodes, and as no world builder had any lighting experience, you can see the results. After those episodes were complete, they finally came to the realization that you actually need lighters to get good TV show level lighting, so they hastily hired a team of lighters because it was so late in the production schedule, they had to hire basically anybody that applied, so that means the majority of the lighters were straight out of school, and I don't think they finished up hiring that team till episode 11 or 12. Another reason for the crappy-looking CG is because there was absolutely no training provided to the surfacing team or on how shaders in Unreal work. So you had them going in blind, muddling their way through, trying to figure out how to make shit work. Hell, the most any of us got for training in Unreal for the whole project was about 2 weeks. I know to people outside the industry, surfacing and lighting may not sound super important, but they are the subtle things that make something go from looking cheap and bad to looking good in CG. In summary, the production was a complete clusterfuck, with the CEO making all the decisions, refusing to listen to anybody, just making his pet fantasy project about his self-inserted son. But hey, he got what he wanted. He can now say Reboot, the Guardian Code, is the first ever show to be made with the Unreal Game Engine and rendered in 4K. Plus, there is some VR stuff. Watch anytime he talks about the show, he'll hit on those points. Hell, those are the points we've been told to hit on in the handout they gave us about how we're supposed to talk about the show in public. I'm very sorry about the product we put out there. I can't imagine how hard it is for the longtime fans of Reboot to look at this abomination. If you're holding out any hope for this show, don't. Not only did they What? Not only did they spit on the grave reboot, they did it in a badly written, badly acted show. If you're wondering if they tried to do anything to placate you guys, that'd be episode 10. They have all the old main characters in that show, but only that episode, and it's just as badly written and acted as the other episodes. Do not watch this show. Do not support this show. Or if you feel the need to satisfy your curiosity about it, wait at least a month after release. Netflix tends to make a decision on renewing for more seasons based on the numbers after about 2 to 4 weeks. So the last thing this show needs is to do well out of morbid curiosity during those weeks and get another season.
Are you sure this isn't my review of the Roseanne reboot? I mean, my God.
Oh wow, I haven't watched that yet. Is it really bad?
Oh, don't watch it, Bill.
Apparently Trump lost it.
No.
I mean, even if I was gonna, it would have been illegally anyway, so you're fine. Huh?
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's how I'm gonna watch the reboot and fucking.
So you know what? The International Space Satellite in space solves all problems. That's the lesson here.
Does anybody remember what this show was even about? Because I can't.
Computers?
I never watched it. I never watched it growing up. All I know is that it's about computer programs that fight evil computer programs. It's like Tron, basically, from what I understand.
It's bad looking Tron. Worse looking Tron.
I remember here in Vegas, they had a motion car ride at the Circus based on Reboot.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I mean, it's gone
I stayed
now.
at that hotel in like 2005. It's a long story. I don't want to talk about it. It was probably there when I was there. I probably passed it and I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm gonna go up this escalator.
Was it there when you were still a man, Bill? Was that?
It was in a close era, huh? It was a tough time for me. All right, Brayton, you got a problem with that? I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry, my person. I'm sorry
about it.
You want to talk about something here, Bill? This is ridiculous. What is this, Dylan? Oh my God.
That's Reboot.
That's a screenshot.
A reboot to your fucking senses is what that is.
Wow.
That's for you, Brayton. That's a gift to you.
God.
I'd also like.
I feel like that's all of you right now, and you're just staring at me with your sickly colored faces.
That's how we act every week. That's pretty much.
I'd like to
stare at each other until.
I'd like to point out for no particular reason that this was a Canadian-produced show.
No.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense.
That's why we're staring at you. We're like,
Right. We're nice people, but we're entertainment. You
know what? You're stone people too, so you know what? That explains it.
True. It's true.
That's why I love
Too
you.
much maple syrup in the water supply.
That sounds great. Oh, perfect.
So I have an issue with this because I just read on Wikipedia
Just one?
that well, not with the reboot, but with the original reboot. I was just refreshing my memory about the series thanks to the wonderful world of Wikipedia. And apparently the main female character's name was Dot Matrix, and I'm sorry, but there's only one Dot Matrix, and she was a droid that appeared in Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that her full name? Okay. I never saw her birth certificate, so I wouldn't know.
I bet she wasn't born in this country, though.
You gotta make sure
Oh, you know what?
I bet she wasn't born in this server.
They never want to show us their birth certificates, do they?
I know.
Because
Yeah.
they don't even have them. I'll bet you.
You gotta make sure you see the long form. You know, you gotta make real sure before you fuck them to death. You gotta make sure that you
My
got
God.
an honest to God.
What are we
Oh, by the way,
talking about?
here's a comparison between Reboot, the main villain from the original Reboot, and his redesign in Reboot.
Wait, the one on the left is older?
Yes.
Wow, the one on the right looks so much worse.
Oh no, they Ultroned him. He looks like Ultron.
You're right. Yeah, they
He does look
did.
kind of
They
like
took-
Ultron.
He looks
Weird
like Luffy.
Ultron Thanos love child here. This is scary.
But it's also like the CG on it looks worse than it did back in the day.
yeah.
That's the thing that I'm mentioning. Clearly somebody brought in the first Gears of War and they were like, let's just copy this and just see what happens. Because that was the first big Unreal game was Gears of War, man. That's why you gotta buy it. It's Unreal.
Well, why did
Also,
they
I
feel
wa-
the need to make him look like a robot? He's not a robot. He's a computer program. You can make him look however the fuck you want. But you fucking...
Clearly they
you
wanted
fucking
to make him look like a robot. That was their mistake. They shouldn't
Well,
have
they
done what they wanted. They should
I
have
mean,
done what made sense.
my question is why they gave him Groucho Marx eyebrows.
I'm
I
only okay
appreciate
with
that.
this. I'm only okay with this if he's
They were
voiced by...
making a political
Yeah.
statement.
What about the other villain, the creepy red lady villain with the mask?
Oh,
You know what she
yeah.
looks like?
She's
We
been
have
turned
not
into a
seen her at
man.
all.
She's been turned into a man to make a statement.
She's been turned into a man.
To make her stunning and brave.
That's the question that we have to ask ourselves.
I mean, look at this. He had a strong jawline. He had a fucking good nose. And they turned him
Devilish
into
eyebrows. An
devilish
evil,
eyebrows.
evil stare.
Plastic
looks
surgery
like-
ruins the best stars, man. I'm telling you.
He looks like the sort of villain who would tie you to the train tracks, and I appreciate that.
Is that what you're into?
In supervillains, yes.
That tells
You
me
need
a
the
lot.
mustache. You need the mustache, but other than that, he's
Other than that, he's kosher.
the mustache.
Great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the alleged behind the scenes drama for the reboot.
Right. That it could be a LARP, as he puts in the disclaimer. Good.
What if he's entirely wrong about the entire situation, and we all go out there and not support the reboot, and then it turns out to be a great reboot, and then they don't get another?
He's a bizarre, disgruntled villain who wants to sabotage this really good show.
What if we don't get a sequel season to the good reboot if it is good? How about a live action reboot movie?
I think it's called Tron.
Oh, you mean like the live action Lion King movie, Dylan?
You might as well.
Right. See what... I gotcha.
Everybody keeps calling that live action Lion King. I'm like, it's not fucking live action. There's no human characters.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said that.
It's all gonna be
Bitch.
CG. Maybe they go out and shoot some real plates. I don't fucking know.
They'll go shoot a real monkey.
What if
Is
they just
there a
train-
monkey in Lion King?
There's a baboon.
baboon.
Yes, I remember.
Oh, listen,
I remember there were
they all
there were
got
actual
hair.
monkeys.
They all got hair. All right.
All
That's
the
all.
animals were there. All the animals were there.
As long as they
Bill,
got hair.
the baboons do not appreciate being lumped in with the other members of the primate tree.
What are they gonna
Bill,
do?
because
Come into my house in Long Island?
the baboons feel that they are especially distinguished because they, unlike the other primates, have dead ass. So by comparing them to a regular old tree lemur, you are belittling them and their people.
All right, listen. I understand that they're thick boys. I apologize.
By the way, I think I just saw Megabyte's reaction to the new Megabyte.
I don't know what those things are. You just
Megabyte is the name of the main villain. Sorry.
oh,
From the reboot.
he's not a real person though. How can he have Oh, I see. Very good. Very good.
We need to turn this
You
into-
found a meme, Andres. Very good.
We need to turn this into the next meme. This is going to be the next fucking whatever that shit was with Patrick.
Oh, that episode where he was trying to capture SpongeBob with the net. That's what that was from.
Yeah.
I finally looked at that meme one day and I was like, oh, I finally figured out what episode that was from. It took me a while, but the internet gave me time. Anyway, so Andres, I cared about
Yes.
some of that, even though I wouldn't have had you just given me the headlines. I would have been like, I don't care about any of that. Fuck all that. Take it out to the garbage and leave it
Man,
there.
Maybe what we need is for
But now,
maybe what we
but
need is
I
for
like talking
IDW.
about all of it.
Maybe what we need is for IDW to put out a reboot book and fucking revolutionize
A
the franchise.
live
It
action
hap-
reboot
it-
comic
you,
book.
You have a bad live action movie, then you follow up with a really decent IDW comic. It happened with Transformers, it happened with Ghostbusters, and it happened with Gem and the Holograms even.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. That's how we do it.
Yeah, if you make the movie bad, you make the comics look better in comparison.
Apparently
It's
the
so brilliant.
apparently the Power Rangers comics are really good right now. I don't know. Haven't.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
I definitely want to get into those at some point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I
a
guess...
lot of that stuff. It's like I leave it to binge at some point, and then one day I'll be like, I'm gonna binge that, and then I just melt I put my brain in the microwave that is that franchise, and I just let it sit there for a while.
Oh yeah, and that reminds me of another piece of news I forgot, and that was the promo trailer they made for the upcoming comic book story arc, Power Rangers Shattered Grid, that featured Jason David Frank
Jason David Frank
reprising his
made
role.
sure that you saw that everywhere on the internet.
Yeah.
He was like,
He He reprised his role as Tommy Oliver, but this time not as the Green Ranger or the White Ranger or the Red Ranger or the Black Ranger, but as the Boom Comics original villain, Lord Drakon.
Not as Professor Thomas Oliver?
No, rather he's this original villain called Lord Drakon, who is Tommy Oliver from another alternate universe where he became evil and just combined the White and Green Ranger powers together and took over the world.
He just combined them, he just put them together.
He's basically like Maestro, the Maestro Hulk, if anyone remembers that villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I remember the Maestro Hulk?
Let's get Maestro Hulk in a movie. I want to see Mark Ruffalo bald with a big white beard. It'd be great.
I feel like if the fourth Avengers movie is what people are theorizing, and it's going to be in different universes, I'd like to see a Hulk that's like a dictator. That would be fun. Although I'd kind of like to see a universe where every Avenger is a dictator of a different part of the world. I feel like that would be fun. Anyway, we're getting off track.
I don't know where they would do this, but I had this idea where, like, you know, because at the end of Captain America, the first Avenger, fucking Red Skull clearly gets, like, teleported off into space. Like, he's still out there. I had this idea that he just winds up on some random backwater planet, takes it over, and turns it into a planet of space Nazis.
That would be a good reveal at some point. And maybe that's the explanation for one of the many stories that we're going to talk about tonight. Good segue. Don't ruin it with more Marvel talk. All right.
I don't know which one of these stories that could be a segue to, but I'm fascinated to find out.
We'll find. Maybe it's the stuff at the start. We'll see. So as we teased at the start, we are going to be getting into some cryptid who knowing, and I have a devilish selection of trivia games assorted for the three people that we've mainly gathered to play them. Dylan helped me make quite a bit of the primary game we're going to be playing. But we meant to play a game a few weeks back that related to psychic Bigfoot. Some different kind of Bigfoot theories that aren't the traditional ape in the woods type of stuff. So we're actually going to open on that, a few questions from that, and then we're going to get into the main stuff, which will be, as we promised in the past few weeks, your UFOs and alien abductions, a big part of paranormal reality. We'll put some quotes around that, that we haven't really delved into. And that's why I thought Brayton would be appropriate to have on to do a trivia game around all of that, where he can finally do his level best to prove his superiority to David. That's your true goal here, right?
To prove that I am the superior race, yes. That's what it's all about.
All right, well, this is quite tense already at the start. This is like a mini tournament of power right here.
Right. You guys ever see or know the show, The Weakest Link, I believe is the name of it?
Yeah.
It's kind of what that's like, yeah.
It's more like the version of The Weakest Link played at the end of the first season of the Doctor Who reboot. Bill, are there points? Are we keeping points on the psychic Bigfoot questions, or just the...
Well, yeah, I figure we'll keep points for them, so that way they can use them in the other game. And I figure you can play it too. I mean, your points won't really matter. You can't win the overall game. But you can play. You can at least win this part of it if you'd like to.
God, it's like election 2016 all over again. All right.
So why don't we just get right into it, and then we'll get into the main course. So... like I said, your Bigfoot theories that aren't really commonly discussed or believed. We're mainly talking about your psychic Bigfeet, and I say psychic because these stories largely revolve around kind of telepathic contact with what people claim to be Sasquatch. I'll let my past self explain it in this little blurb. John Eric Beckjord was the first modern cryptozoologist to popularize the theory that Sasquatch is not a traditional flesh and blood animal, as is commonly proposed, but rather that it is a form engineered and used by extraterrestrials or perhaps interdimensional beings, capable of shape-shifting, controlling the very light spectrum, and thought transference. Thus, in his estimation, providing an explanation for centuries of vague, fleeting Sasquatch encounters with negligible physical evidence to corroborate them.
So what you're saying is he doesn't believe in that whole simplest answer approach to logic.
No. He hates Sherlock Holmes. He's all about the background, like totally backwards thinking approach. He was far from the first, or even the most respected or well published. However, Bechtard was certainly the most vigilant. In 1989, Bechtard was banned from the 8th annual meeting of the International Society of Cryptozoology and spent a night in jail. I ask you guys, why? Here are your options. He sent several death threats to fellow Bigfoot researchers who did not take his theories and studies seriously. Second option, he incited a brawl with the higher-ups at the gathering for refusing to allow him to speak. Third option, he was banned for putting forth several pieces of fabricated evidence and then arrested for showing up anyway in a Bigfoot costume.
Oh my god. I know which one I hope is true.
This is your and then this is your last option. He was caught vandalizing the cars of several colleagues. So there's 4 options. We're going to start with Brayton. You're the guest. You get the first pick. So is there anyone you want me to repeat, or you got it? You got a selection already?
Can you repeat the second one again?
He incited a brawl with the higher-ups at the gathering for refusing to allow him to speak. That's your pick?
No, I thought that's what it was. I wanted to make sure. I'm gonna go. Which one I think is true? I'm gonna go with the 4th one because it sounds the most mundane of the 3. I don't know. Though I really wish. I hope to God that the showing up in a Bigfoot costume is accurate.
That was the 3rd option, just in case anybody's curious for their selection. So all right, Brayton. So I've got you down for 4. You're sticking with that? All right, you got you down.
I'm gonna
for
go
4.
with that.
All right, Andres, what's your selection?
Let's see. Number 3 you said was the man in the suit, right?
He put forth several pieces of fabricated evidence, and he was arrested, and for showing up in a Bigfoot costume anyway. Yeah.
I'll go with that one.
All right, Andres, you are going with.
I hope you're right, Andres.
You're putting your gun to that question and pulling the trigger. David, it's your turn, my dear fellow. What do you have to say on the matter?
Here's what I have to say. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, great.
We're
off to a wonderful start.
In 1989, Bechtard was banned from the 8th annual meeting of the International Society of Cryptozoology and spent a night in jail. Why? Did he send several death threats to fellow Bigfooters? Did he incite a fight with the higher-ups of the conference? Was he banned for fabricated evidence and arrested for showing up in a Bigfoot costume? Or was he caught vandalizing the cars of several colleagues? Which one is true? Which one did he actually spend a night in jail for?
I'm going to go with vandalizing the cars.
All right.
Sounds like something I would do to you guys.
Alrighty then. We're sticking with personal experience.
Good thing I don't have a car anymore.
Dylan, throw one out for the hell of it. What's your pick?
Put me down for whichever option the other 3 didn't pick.
There's 2 of them.
Shit, what are they?
He sent several death threats to fellow Bigfoot researchers, or he
Oh,
started...
that one. I want that one to be...
Alrighty then.
Turns out he slept with one
I
of their
will summon
wives.
Bigfoot to kill you guys
I would like
with
this
my
to be
telepathic powers.
I'd like this to be a Jared Leto situation.
Alrighty then. So in 1989, Bechtard was banned from the 8th annual meeting of the International Society of Cryptozoology and spent a night in jail because he sent several death threats to fellow Bigfoot researchers who did not take his theories and studies seriously. Dylan, you got the only point there.
Yes, which means that's basically my role in this game. I've just realized is to let them have less points going into the main game.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have had those points anyway.
True, and they got it right.
So, shut your mouth. In the same year, Bechtard opened a paranormal museum in Malibu, California, largely consisting of photos he'd taken over the years and newspaper clippings. It was but a small part of a large establishment, however. What was that establishment? You have 3 options this time. A mall, a relative's hardware store, or a country-style restaurant. Let's start with David this time. David, what's your selection here? What are you feeling?
I'm feeling hungry, so I'm gonna go with the country style restaurant.
All right, that's an interesting tactic.
I'm going with
Not
my gut.
necessarily bad, but
Unintended.
you know, when it comes to Bigfoot, it can be misguided. So Andres, what are you feeling here, buddy?
Let's see. So he's collecting evidence And we have to guess where?
Mostly taking pictures. All right, no. So let me give you the basic gist again. He opened a museum in Malibu, California, a year after the previous incident we talked about. The museum mostly consisted of photos he'd taken and newspaper clippings, but it was a small part of a much larger establishment. So it was part of a bigger building.
So the museum was in a bigger thing.
Yes. So what was the bigger thing? Was it a mall,
Okay.
a relative's hardware store, or a country-style restaurant?
I'm going to go with the hardware store.
A relative's hardware store. You feeling
Yeah,
that?
relative.
You're going to put a hammer to that one?
That feels like the easiest way to make one.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't see a museum working inside a restaurant nor a mall.
Brayton, how do you feel on the subject?
I'm going to resemble that remark and concur with Andres. I don't think a mall would. I don't know. I just don't see a mall tolerating him posting his photos of his wife in there. Yeah.
I done found
raises
Bigfoot.
Sir, it just raises too many
You're in
questions.
the picture with a wedding ring on in a tuxedo, sir.
Pay no attention to that part.
Fuck, I forgot to cut it out. I made a mistake. All right, so
Photoshop skills aren't too good, but no, yeah. I'm gonna
in 1989.
He discovered
Definitely
something.
not.
Yeah.
Discovered Photoshop.
No, yeah, I'm gonna go with.
You're going with the hardware store.
Yeah.
All right, you're locked in for it. Dylan, do you have a feeling here?
Well, I'm going to say that it's probably not the country restaurant, because the last thing I want when I'm in Cracker Barrel is some big guy who probably looks like the bear guy from the True Grit remake trying to convince me that Bigfoot is real. While I agree with them that the hardware store is probably the most likely, I like the idea of him standing out in the middle of a mall trying to get people's attention, and they're just walking past him because they got to get to Hot Topic. So
in 1989.
I'm going to
Where
go.
the real freaks are, yeah.
1989. Sorry. They have to get to whatever the fuck store was around back then to buy themselves a Batman hat. So I'm going to go with the mall, just because that's what I'd like it to be in my soul.
Brayton, buddy, not off to a good start here. David got the first point of the three of you. Country-style restaurant, that is indeed where Beckjord opened his paranormal museum. It wasn't for long. The country-style restaurant burnt down. Just
like Brayton's chance at this game.
Oh, wow. Dylan, you got the point down, right?
Yeah.
When Beckjord
David went with his gut, and that's terrific.
Oh, yeah, see, it worked for him here. Don't use that as a friend, though, David. It might hurt you in the future, physically.
It already has.
When Beckjord opened another museum years later, it stood on its own and charged a nominal fee of a few dollars a patron. It consisted of the same personal artifacts and newspaper clippings, however, and soon closed. What did Beckjord do next? So what was his career following the failed second museum? Did he become a repairman? Start managing the restaurant his museum used to be in? Disappear into Bhutan, a region near the Himalayas, in search of the Yeti? Let's start with Andres. Andres, what are you feeling here?
Let's see. I'm sure he lost a lot of money along the way.
Probably a few bucks, yeah, a few ham sandwiches.
Let's see. I'm gonna say he became a repairman.
Okay. Why? Why that one?
I feel
he
like
doesn't seem very technical. Fucking putting up newspaper clippings like this is evidence of Bigfoot. It's like that's newspapers.
if he made a restaurant and he tried to rebuild it, I'm sure no one would come back to it.
Right.
Fair enough.
His choice of career is cursed, so he had to get a new one.
He started a new path like Jesus. He became a carpenter. All right, so we'll see how it fares for you. David, how about you? What do you feel?
I'm gonna go that he went to the Himalayas.
Into the region of Bhutan to search for the Yeti?
Yeah, because he probably thought that since his career is going down to shitter, maybe it'll come back if he catches a Bigfoot or Yeti, whatever he thought he was going to catch.
Who knows? Maybe it's some kind of weird STD. Who I hope whichever one he was looking for, he gained. Brayton, how about you, pal?
He can look for it and call it Yeti.
A Dave Love story.
I got the Yeti.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. I'm also going to go with not handyman. What is it? Repairman. That's it. Yes, a handy repairman.
Man.
Hopefully
Right.
not a footsie repairman. That sounds weird.
No, that's Dan Schneider. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. He probably needed the money. I don't see him going through all the work of rebuilding a restaurant to put up more newspaper clippings. And even though
the restaurant burned down.
Because of Bigfoot trying to sabotage him for exposing him.
My place has such good luck, don't it?
I took these foot castings outside, sir. These are your feet.
Oh, Brayton, he didn't have foot castings. He didn't have the money for foot castings. You're so good.
I give him the benefit of the doubt. No, yeah, I'm gonna go with repairman.
Okay. Dylan, how about you, pal?
I'm going to say that he went to the Himalayas and then he appeared in Disney's Monsters, Inc.
Well, unfortunately, that's not the cameo he was destined for. He was destined for the path of the Lord. He indeed became a repairman. Andres and Brayton
There you go.
both get points. You are all even with David. Yeah, David. Huh?
Brayton?
You're all the same to me.
Okay.
You're all voices in my head. I'm sorry. It's hard to tell you apart sometimes now. All right, so that is actually all for the David Beckchard section. He never really had any evidence, as you guys saw, so there wasn't really much else to say about him. But I thought his life was interesting enough to be worthwhile. So, given the time that we have,
What was his name? I want to Google this dude.
let me go back to the top.
David. So a real poor, unfortunate.
John Eric Beckchard with a J. In the meantime, I'd like to get the next question going. I just want to look through here. Okay. So
You guys remember that scene in the Jesus cup, and Harrison Ford's like he was a carpenter, and he like picks up one.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the same thing happens with this guy, but he sees like a really crappy Bigfoot photo, and he's like he was a carpenter.
and that's why he became one. He was inspired by Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I hope so. Well, Brayton, you may have an opportunity to find out. Because
right.
when it comes to hard evidence, proponents of these ideas often directly quote the Sasquatch themselves. Not verbal quotes. That would be too easy. But rather thoughts that Bigfoot has transferred into their mind and that they are now translating themselves into English. Therefore, accept some odd diction as I am going to provide you with 3 quotes. You must guess which quote allegedly comes from an actual Sasquatch and which ones I made up. We're only going to do one of these because maybe we'll do 2 because they
Wait, which quote came from a Sasquatch?
Yeah. So as I said, the only quote unquote evidence that these people put forward for their communications with the psychic Sasquatch that tell them all about the secrets of the universe, they directly quote the things that they told them. So you have to tell me which one of these quotes I actually pulled directly from online that somebody claims a Bigfoot said to them in their head, and which ones I made up. So one of them's real, 2 of them's fake.
Is one of them ooh 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 ooh?
Hey, can I borrow 350? Is that one? Is that
You'll have to find out.
Is one of them ooga booga?
You can find out for yourself. You're spoiling it now, Andres.
Wait, Bill. What was one of them? Did one of them go like, "Hello, everyone"?
You guys just have to listen and find out. So the first one, first quote: "You humans and this is so fucking wild. You humans and we have the same ancestors. All we come from star roamers who traveled here many billions of eons ago. They was big and hairy like we, but they used much technology like yous. They come here to escape religious persecution in Origin Galaxy."
Why do they?
So Bigfoot was buckwheat? What is this?
Why do they speak in Ebonics?
Second quote: "When one of yours succeeds in taking pictures of one of ours and publishes them, we can hear the thoughts of those seeing it and feel the fears, hatred, and ridicule we are subjected to in the Unicivilization enslaving your people. This hurts our soul. For this reason, we avoid cameras and having our DNA sampled." Third quote: Us use soul reach to convince humans that we are not.
Soul. That sounds like a Motown like TV program. Soul Reach, like for our benefit or something. I love that. That's great.
Or it sounds like some like 70s like disco vigilante.
Like Soul Train, yeah.
But no, imagine he's fighting crime with his disco dance moves.
I'll ignore your
Soul
rude,
reach.
irreverent interruption and finish the quote. Us use soul reach to convince humans that we are not there when we really... Oh, hang on. That we are not there when really we are right in front of them. It given us by Almighty Father who only give humans human reach. Okay.
Amen.
So that's 3 quotes. I'm sure you guys remember the details of all 3. So which ones do you think I came up with, and which one do you think I pulled from online? Let's start with Brayton.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the second one, mainly because it sounds like a little bit of the person reporting the quote, kind of leading that himself into it, saying, "Oh, you ridicule my pictures, man. We can hear those thoughts. We know how you feel." And he uses the most proper diction, so I'm gonna go with that one.
Very fair, very fair. Andres, how are you feeling about it?
I'm going to go with the first one because if Bigfoot from Aliens kind of does sound like something that would come from the mind of a crazy person who claimed that Bigfoot talked to him and through psychic sleep powers.
David, how about you?
I'm going to go with the first... Wait. So what are we looking for?
You're trying to figure out which one I actually pulled from online, which one's a real quote, and 2 of them I made up. So you're trying to figure out which one's which.
All right, so... Okay, that changes things. All right, so I'm going to go with the third one being the one you found online.
That was Soul Reach.
You're
going with Soul Reach?
Is that what it's called?
Well, that was in the quote. That was that one.
Yeah, and number 1 and number 2, you pulling out of your ass, because it kind of sounds like something you'd make up.
All right, David, you're sticking with it. That's your final Bigfoot shot. Shot of Bigfoot come. So Dylan, what's your opinion?
I gotta go with the same one that Andres chose, simply because I really like the world building. I think they did a decent job there.
Well, tough shit. I made that one. Brayton, you were the only one to figure it out because I think for the reason of not good diction, you bitch. I think it was more because of the person's desperation to try and be like, oh my god, all the Bigfoot evidence, it's all a mystery, man. You don't know, you don't fucking know. It's all crazy. That's oftentimes what the majority of these are. I made a lot of these questions. We're not doing all of them. They're too long, and this is not the meat of tonight's offerings.
There isn't a whore of the gargantuous question in here, right? With a
no. No, there's nothing like that. We if we need a tiebreaker later on, we'll come back to these. But
okay, all right.
For now, I think that'll have to do. Where are we at time wise? Yeah, we definitely need to get to the alien game.
Yes.
So why don't we?
Wait, so Brayton got it right?
Yeah, Brayton got that one right. So Dylan, you got him down for that?
Yeah.
point?
So get bent, David.
Whoa. Wait. So which was the one that you found online? The middle one?
It was the second one, yeah. So, my bad. Where were we? We're
Alien. Just getting into the alien stuff.
Okay, all right. So let me.
I won.
Of course.
Remember that part, everybody?
Oh, great. Okay. So Brayton, you're starting off in the lead. All right. So we'll have to remember that. So let's do it. Dylan, you got your copy open?
Yeah. Hold on.
I love the confidence. The confidence is always what keeps me going.
You mean Dylan's confidence?
Dylan's high energy holds the show together.
Exactly. Without his sheer enthusiasm and charisma, I don't know where we'd be.
It would just crumble, yeah.
If Dylan left the show, his condescension will be greatly missed.
I'll have you know that I've been over here doing some very important primo photoshopping, so that's...
Of pictures of people's wives in order to be Bigfoot?
I thought your computer didn't allow you to do that anymore. Unless you're lying to us.
No, he got a new computer.
I got a fucking new laptop for Christmas.
He's just lying to you. He's just lying to you, Andres. No.
How do you think I recently made a video? I couldn't have done that on that old shit.
True. Congratulations, man. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I got a $3,000 laptop. Are you proud of me, Andres?
No, but you guys, I've actually made a
I'm
very
never
important.
proud of you.
I've actually made a very important scientific discovery. I have found the true Bigfoot, and I'm gonna share it with all of you right now. So,
Is it Bill?
funny you should say that.
Oh God. Why is my life just a series of tortures? Oh, it's better.
Oh my
Well played.
god, that's beautiful.
Well, while you were doing that, did you get the fucking game out? Edit point. We're starting now. Dylan, do you have the fucking copy of the Alien game out so we can start now?
I've got it.
The
It's
much
just in
delayed
another-
Alien game?
It's just in another window. Hold on.
Someday I'm gonna catch that filthy Salvadorian.
Thanks a lot, Andres. I regret making that fucking tag video.
It's the Salvadorian Bigfoot, the rarest of them all, and the craziest.
His Bigfoot call us, hey, and ooh.
Yeah, we sit there in the woods at night. We just go, hey, and then we just wait for a response.
Sup, D?
We leave pirated soundtracks on the gifting stone.
Oh, that's great. The Rebirth of
Maybe you
Mothra
can take-
soundtrack.
If he gets angry, he'll start pointing at you. At that point, you know when to run.
Just go,
On the bright side, David.
ba.
On the bright side, David, look how tall you are in this picture.
Just be on stilts.
I feel like you're handsomer too. I mean, is that mean to say? I mean,
But surprisingly less body hair. Yeah, strange.
Wait, is it just a female Bigfoot?
I don't know. You
Allegedly.
tell us, David. Dylan,
Is it true what they say about big feet?
Can we start the game now?
You can fucking do whatever you want.
All right, well, you do. You start us off then. UFOs and alien abductions, the SOS trivia game. Well, you know what? Fine. You know what? I'll give you a second. I'll start it off. Everybody, what's everybody's experience with kind of knowledge in this genre, watching documentaries, hearing stuff through the internet grapevine? Brayton, start us off. What's your familiarity with the genre of paranormal studies?
Yeah, alien. When it comes specifically to alien encounters and things of that nature, yeah, I'm a big fan of the documentaries, and I love, alien invasion and abduction movies are my favorite thing, especially when they're done very poorly. There's nothing better. So, I haven't personally been abducted.
Terrific.
It's terrific. Yeah, I'm on a long waiting list to get probed while abducted by an alien, but it just hasn't come around to me yet.
We all
They're
have
coming
dreams.
tonight. Like I said, I got them on their way.
Okay, good.
They're on their
Good.
way. We whoever wins the game gets an anal probe. That's the prize. I didn't tell you guys.
Oh my god.
You said,
I think I'm gonna win tonight.
Oh, you have to now. This is like offering you the super Dragon Balls. It's like I have to get them. I have to get my wish.
But no, yeah, I've never been abducted. But again, I think I'm a little more familiar with this genre, if you will, as opposed to serial killing and that things of that nature. So I'm gonna do well tonight. I have a good feeling about this.
You have a good feeling
Let's
of
see if
getting
that
anal
lasts.
probed.
I hope. It's been so long.
Andres.
Let's see. Like I may have mentioned this before in the past, but I've always been interested in like cryptozoology as well as the possibility of aliens, the fact that we may not be alone in the universe, the endless possibilities of extraterrestrial life, and but at the end, I have grown up watching several documentaries on these sort of phenomenons, and it's always kind of been like spooky or scary to me to know that there are these. As exciting as it is at the existence of aliens, it can also be very terrifying, especially considering how many times our imaginations run wild and our paranoia gets the best of us, and we think that anybody from the outside is coming here specifically to get us. So I always found the idea of like aliens to be very fascinating.
Damn, he took us to a dark place. David, hit us up with some fucking comedy, man. Be the dancing monkey that we need. How do you feel about aliens?
You live in the desert. You've definitely been abducted, right? They've abused you sexually.
That would
That's
explain a
actually-
lot.
No, he's the abductor. He hasn't been abducted.
He's like, I'm not. You're not abducting me. I'm abducting you.
He's like that little creature from Pod People. That's pretty much David. He's this little.
I feel like this is the only place we can take Taken 4. Liam Neeson's family member has to be abducted by aliens, and then he has to go on like a cross-galactic search for them.
How do you say that? That's how I met Andres.
Watching alien abduction documentaries.
Oh, we're talking about Martians. I thought we were talking about Mexicans.
Not just Martians, Venusians,
Any and all border
Jupiterians.
crossers.
Right.
Because what Andres said really
the borders
resonates
of
with...
land and space.
Because what Andres said really applies to illegal immigrants as well, if you think about it.
If you want to look at it that way.
Help us build a bigger wall, David. That's all we ask of you.
Oh, no, I need Mexicans to help me build something else.
So, David, how do you think you're going to do tonight? With your knowledge of this kind of background?
I feel... Help me out here.
Scared?
Like an idiot. So usual?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence, 50-50, Brayton could be bluffing, saying he knows all about this, or he could be telling the truth for once.
Listen, do you want the anal probe at the very least? Are you going to fight for the anal probe?
Or you're just going to give up like a coward.
In which case, we'll give you the anal probe anyway.
Right.
But not a good one.
Wouldn't
It'll be
that
like
defeat
a
the
really painful one. Like you won't get an enema beforehand. It'll be the worst.
It'll be the anal probe from Cartman Gets an Anal Probe, but we'll put it in satellite dish first.
So it's going to feel like when you take a shit, but in reverse?
That's generally how anal probing...
That's what the aliens go for. So, Dylan, why don't you ask the very first kind of prologue question here, since we have a little section that gets us into the main course.
You didn't ask me about my experiences.
Well, you
with
know what? You
aliens.
can tell them on your own now that you have the floor. So before you ask the first question, why don't you tell us about your fucking alien experience? Have you had your ass touched by an alien?
All right, gonna get real serious here for a second. I don't know if I've ever told this story, but at about the age of 5, I saw Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, and it changed my life.
It touched my ass.
Can you call this episode "Touched by an Alien"? I just love it. Sounds like "Touched by an Angel." It's great.
Or ass touched by an alien, or I feel like we need to specify.
The alien
My
who broke...
ass is so far away, but my alien friend could touch it.
Alien, I just want to be touched in the ass.
Yeah, you can also go with the James Bond inspiration and call it the alien who probed me. But
Nobody does it better.
all right, prologue questions. This first one does not have multiple choice, so if you get it right, you will get the fucking
You're
good...
shot in the dark. Shot in the dark. The person who gets it the closest, wins.
And you will get a fucking pat on the back and a Bucky Beaver badge. So the question is,
probe.
how many extraterrestrial sightings / encounters do you think were reported globally last year? Let's just go alphabetically and start with Andres.
How many last year?
Globally as well. That's
Globally.
Extraterrestrial sightings.
Not big feet.
Flash.
We're done with the big feet.
I'm going to shoot around 100.
Okay. Brayton, you are next alphabetically. What do you think?
Oh dear. I'll go for 200.
Playing the prices right over here. I see.
There you go.
David, what is the best guess you can summon from your primate brain? What do you think? How many alien sightings last year?
I'm going to go with 19,405.
Wow.
Should we give them another go with more of we could do like a high-low thing just to make it a little more interesting?
No. If we're going closest, David actually way overshot, and the other two went way too low, but they didn't go lower than he overshot it. So Brayton is technically the closest
All
with
right,
200.
all right, you're right.
There you go.
We'll give him the technicality. So Brayton, you do technically get the point for being the closest, although you're all way the fuck off. You know what, Dylan? Brayton, I'm not doing this for any personal bias. I think it's just fair. Give him half a point.
That's all right. That I understand. Yeah.
Because it's way off. It's 4,655. We definitely should have played that differently, but I was surprised by that figure myself. That's globally, but it is it is a United States company that does all the collection of this data, so it's definitely influenced by this country certainly. But no global body exists to monitor extraterrestrial activity. So that we know about.
So Brayton did not get the anal probe. He just got the tip with half a point. All right.
So following that up, which U.S. state accounted for the most sightings? And we'll give you 3 options this time. Much easier. California, Vermont, or Nevada? Brayton, what do you think, man?
I'm just out of Nevada. I'm just throwing that out there. Sounds the most typical.
That David Stank, man. You think the aliens are drawn to that? I know what you're thinking.
Well, it's because it's because people are seeing David walking around and then they're reporting shit. You know.
Right.
All right. Well, David, how do you rebuttal that? What do you think? Which U.S. state do you think accounted for the most? Are they right?
California.
Ooh, all right.
All right.
Insistent. Very confident. Let's see how that confident plays with you. Andres, how do you feel about David's confidence? Are you going to follow his lead, or are you going to be the outsider?
I'm going to go with Nevada, just to go with the Mothman principle, where if someone says they saw something, other people are going to claim they saw something in the same area.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Alrighty then.
Like the people at South by Southwest who said they saw Gigan in Ready Player One. Who wasn't. Anyway. Yeah, like that.
That's a ticket.
Yeah.
Before Bill reveals what the actual answer is, I want you all to think about this little thing. Which of the states on this list smokes the most weed? You didn't take that into consideration.
Because David got the only point again with California. Remember, man, that fucking Skywalker OG, I have smoked that shit. It is legendary. You see all kinds of shit.
I mean, Joe,
you watch Dragon Ball? I talked to Goku. I was there.
Have you ever listened to the Joe Rogan Experience? I mean, point being, current standing: Andres 1 point, David 2 points, Brayton slight lead with 2.5.
All right.
If you win by the half, that's gonna be great. It's gonna be so good.
What if he ties with the half?
Oh my god.
Well, we'll see if somebody has a chance to get another half point. We'll see. What was the name of the U.S. government's official investigation into UFO sightings in the 50s? I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was in the late 40s it started. But was talking that time frame. Was it called the Manfield Project, SETI, the Men in Black, or Project Blue Book? Let's jump over to David. How you feeling, man? What's your selection?
Wait. God damn it, I know this one. But I'm stuck between 2 choices.
Well, get us into your head, man. The listeners at home, they're not in there. They don't want to be. They're terrified, so force them in.
Because I have this book where supposedly all the alien races that the U.S. government supposedly came into contact with and are working with are documented. And it's called Project Blue Book.
Mm.
But is that the name of the U.S. government's official investigation into UFO sightings? That's the question I'm asking you.
Here's the thing. They both start with the word blue, so I can't remember. And it's on my other computer, so I can't check because I'm too lazy.
And that would be kind of cheating. So
there's only one option. There's only one option on this list that starts with blue, though. So
I'm going to go with Project Blue Book.
All right, David. Ray gun to the head. You're sticking with it.
Oh, my lord.
Andres, what are we thinking?
Project Blue Book.
Very confident. Any reason why? Do you have a book that says that on it?
Yes.
Good.
Actually, I don't have it. It was something.
It's a literal blue book with a crappy picture of an alien on it. Yeah.
It is something I used to read about back in elementary school.
Elementary.
Yeah.
What kind of elementary school you went to?
What kind of schools do they have out there?
One that had a library that had certain books on cryptozoology and other sorts of mysteries.
Your school had books? What?
Rich kid.
Goddamn Californians.
Brayton, as one of us blue-collar folks, how do you feel about this here UFO sighting?
I'm going to complete the trifecta with Project Blue Book, mainly because, other than Men in Black, it's the one I've heard of in the past, and it's, I'm just... If I'm wrong, I want to be wrong with the rest of them. I maintain my lead.
You're like lemmings, except you're all right. That's what sucks. That's what sucks for me as one of the game makers. Is if you were all like lemmings, it would be great.
I feel like that was the easiest question in the entire game, though. So
yeah, it was kind of a point giver. So you all get a point.
Yay!
All right, Dylan, you're up. Take us into proper section 1.
All right, in this section, we will summarize an extraterrestrial encounter. It could be a UFO sighting. It could be an abduction. Anything in between. There could be butt plugs involved. Who knows? And then we will give you 3 years, and you guess which year it happened in. All right. So this one, we're going way back. This is an ancient account from a great ruler, maybe one of the first UFO sightings. It says, in the 3rd month of winter, in the 6th hour of the day, the scribes of the House of Life noticed a circle of fire that was coming from the sky. From the mouth it emitted a foul breath. It had no head. Its body was 1 rod long and 1 rod wide. It had no voice. It is not known what year this account supposedly happened.
Occurred in. Well, didn't put that in.
Look what I'm working with here. So instead, what civilization does this account originate from? Do you think that happened in ancient Egypt, ancient Mesopotamia, or ancient Greece? Dave, you strike me as a man who knows very little about ancient civilizations. What do you think?
Damn. Could you describe it again?
Yes. So, quote, in the 3rd month of winter, in the 6th hour of the day, the scribes of the House of Life noticed a circle of fire that was coming from the sky. From the mouth it emitted a foul breath. It had no head. Its body was 1 rod long and 1 rod wide. It had no voice. That's the account. I don't know what. So you have to guess which of these ancient civilizations used rods as a measuring system.
I'm gonna go
whichever
with
one I'm from, bitch. No.
I'm gonna go with ancient Mesopotamia.
All right, he's going with ancient Mesopotamia. Andres.
I'll go with ancient Mesopotamia simply because I don't know much about them. So there might be some sci-fi legends shit in there that I don't know about.
Interesting. Brayton, are you going to go with the crowd or are you going to strike out and be an individual?
I'm going to be an individual and go with ancient Egypt because that's the only ancient I'm really any familiar with at all.
Well, guess what, guys?
You're familiar with their rods?
Oh, I'm very familiar with. We won't get into that though on the podcast. But
well, I'm sorry, Andres and David, but it is time to duel because the answer was ancient Egypt.
Hey, there you go.
That rod familiarity came out.
My rod knowledge pulled off. That's great.
You definitely did.
Brayton measures everything in rods.
I mean, it's a weird Canadian thing, Yeah.
Right.
We measure everything in bacon strips. It's weird. But no.
So
they had to find a new system when they realized that antlers weren't a good system because they come in different. Anyway.
When the moose start molting, it's really creepy and weird and horrible.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures of that. It's like, Jesus Christ, I didn't know they did that.
It's post-apocalyptic zombie moose.
Yeah.
Can't wait till we see Moosla do that.
Just strips of bloody flesh stripping.
It'll look like the ending of Godzilla vs. Destroyer, but with Moosla and just all of its fur and oh god.
Who's hungry?
I can go for some good bacon strips right now.
Some good meat right about now.
Are moose delicious? Is what I want to know.
I've never eaten a moose, Dylan, but I'll get back to you on that.
All right.
Give me 5 minutes.
I hear there is such a thing as moose jerky.
Ooh, I've had deer jerky, so I can only imagine that it's maybe along those lines, but tougher.
I've had European horse jerky before.
That's oddly specific.
Interesting.
You're like, oh my god, Mr. Ed tastes weird.
I mean, listen, I've been to Chinese restaurants. We all know what's in there.
Chinese people.
Past customers who complained.
Yeah, that too. That most of all.
There's like an old thing where apparently they cook dogs. It's like a fucking I think it's an urban legend, or maybe it isn't.
The
Bill, are you
silence will
gonna
speak volumes? Yes.
Point being, I won that one.
Number 2.
This is going to be my last question because I got to go.
Oh fuck, for real? Oh man. All
gotta-
right. So a pair of woodcuts from Eastern Europe renders incredible aerial battles in a pre-aircraft world. They described objects shaped like orbs, crosses, cylinders, and a black arrow-like vessel. After some time, they heard what seemed to be
Any of them shaped like X's or Y's?
Not that is described here, but this is from... Well, you'll figure out what time it's from. They heard what seemed to be a major crash outside of the city. The residents of Nuremberg believe the sky battle was a religious sign. The event was recorded on a woodcut broadsheet by Hans Glasser, who said, "Whatever such signs mean, God alone knows." A woodcut dated 5 years later and created by Samuel Kokis displays a similar scene, this time of red and black orbs battling over the town of Basel. But when was the original one cut? What year? 1458? 1561 or 1762? David, let's definitely start with you since you're fucking abandoning us for some kind of other life you have.
I got to make that money to buy more.
Get
You
back
gotta
to
go- are you-
posing
are you
as an
going-
alien
are you going
in the
back-
desert.
Do you have to go to work now?
Well, I got to get ready and then go to work.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. You got to get ready.
I mean, listen,
The whole
you
Batman suit up sort of little scene there with his uniform and everything.
I mean, listen, I just showed you what David looks like in his natural habitat. He has to buy a lot of razors.
Yes.
Funny you say that. I actually do.
We believe it.
We don't need to know.
It wasn't funny. It was disturbing.
Anyways, what were the-
year? What year what year do you think this woodcut that displayed a bunch of stuff fighting in the sky pre-aircraft? What year?
and we're talking about the original, right?
Yeah, the first one I described, the one of crosses and cylinders and black arrow-like objects.
What were the options again?
1458, 1561, 1762.
I'm gonna go with 1561, 1562, whichever was 15.
That was the 1561. All right, you're married to that now because you're the one fucking rushing us. That's your punishment. Andres, what are you looking at here?
Let's see. Very difficult. I'm just going to shoot in the dark and go with the 1700s one.
Okay, you're going later.
It's the latest one, yeah.
Okay, interesting choice. Brayton, how about you?
Okay, I'm gonna go with the fifth. I'm gonna go with the same one that David did. For the reason of the 1700s sounds a little too recent to be making up crazy shit like crosses and whatnot fighting in the sky, and then the other one sounds, I'm gonna share my failure or my success with David since he has to leave. How about that?
That's very noble. We'll remember you for that.
Yeah.
Dylan, why don't you put them out of their misery? What's the answer?
Well, David, not that it matters since you're leaving and therefore could never catch up, but you got that right, as did Brayton. So
We did it, buddy.
the answer was 1561.
So, David, since you're leaving, where does that leave the score, Dylan? Because we'll leave that as the actual... So, David's presence in the game, that'll be kind of his standing. So, where are we at?
Yeah, David had 4 points. Andres has 2. Brayton actually picking up a considerable lead now at 5.5. So, Andres, I'm not going to say that it's impossible for you to catch up.
Don't worry, you'll catch up.
But I am going to say that
You
it
have
will
time.
Yeah, it'll happen.
I've seen crazier comebacks.
So, but the point is, the reason I brought that up, Brayton, you have your victory over David because he's forfeiting.
I'm not forfeiting. I gotta go.
You're forfeiting.
Yeah, like the French had to go,
Yeah, we understand.
Retreat is universal,
The
David.
Nazis had to go up their butts with their penises. Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
We know
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, sure, you helped us win the Revolutionary War, David, but what have you done for us lately?
I provided y'all with many bootlegs.
True.
True that. All right.
Fair enough.
You're free to go. Get out of our sight.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Well, hush. Was that a probe pun?
David, the aliens are on their way. You're never going to make it to work. I'm just warning you now because you forfeited. So not only are they going to probe your ass, they're going to probe everything. They're going to probe your soul.
All holes.
It's funny you say that. Area 51 is 4 hours away from here, and supposedly there are some aliens in disguise at the Strip. Supposedly.
So they don't have far to go. They're there already. They're waiting for you.
And you've never recorded a vlog of yourself trying to get in? You're a terrible YouTuber, David.
I'm pretty sure David works security at a hotel or some shit like that, so I imagine he goes into work and they're like, "Oh, Mr. Hernandez, welcome in today. We have an interesting case for you." Case? Yeah, we have a case today. We have these international guests here. They have some questions for you about our services here. Here he is. And it's just like these two gray alien motherfuckers. This is Clip Clop and Z-Pop. There's some concerns about the security of their hotel.
It's the
they
fucking
also happen
alien.
to be Power Rangers villains based on the name.
It's the fucking alien disguised as a woman from Mars Attacks.
Oh, God. So good luck with that, David. That's what you get for forfeiting.
All right. See you.
Good night, man. Peace. Thanks for being here.
Take care.
All right. So Andres, Brayton, 2 left. 1-on-1. Mono y mano. You guys are going at it. Andres, you're the underdog. You're the Krillin here. Brayton, you're the Frieza. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see if you'll end up blowing them up with nothing but your thoughts. I'd like to see that.
I'd love to see that.
Do you have the touch, or are you no match for Brayton's instruments of destruction? Let's find out.
Dylan, you're next, right? Yeah, you got 3, so you're up. Batter up!
All right, now this potentially, Andres, you might have a chance here because this might be one that you've heard of before. The Battle of Los Angeles. No, not the movie. Late on the night of February 25th, something triggered anti-aircraft alarms and air raid sirens in Los Angeles. A blackout was called, and searchlights pierced the night in search of Japanese attackers, and reports came in of an unidentified object floating off the coast of Los Angeles. The Army artillery went on the offensive for an hour, beginning at approximately 3:15 a.m. on February 26th. Troops fired more than 1,400 shells, but were unable to shoot down the object. The shells exploding may have been mistaken for enemy planes. 5 people died during the blackout, 3 in car accidents and 2 from heart attacks. No enemy planes or UFOs were hit by American shells, and eventually the blackout order was lifted and the president notified. At first, War Secretary Henry L. Stimson claimed that 15 aircraft were involved in the battle. Then officials said it was simply a false alarm. Eventually, the Army claimed that the object was a weather balloon, sparking suspicions of a cover-up that continued to this day. All right, so what year did that happen? Is it 1943, 1944, or 1942?
They're all so close.
Andres,
Yeah.
since you are the Californian, when do you think?
Let's see. So it's 42, 43, and 44?
Yes.
Ah.
Had to happen at the end of World War II.
Right.
So that's your
What year was Pearl Harbor?
We should probably all know that, but we don't.
I actually do. I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to go on your own wits. I am not an information source for you, my friend.
Damn.
Whatever shall I do?
Don't Google it. This is not...
Whatever can I do?
Whatever should you not do morally as an upstanding player of podcast trivia games?
If only I had some sort of a search engine.
An internet
Right.
box.
Let's see. I'm going to go with 42.
All right, 42. Brayton, do you concur or do you disagree?
Well, I want to say Pearl Harbor for you uncultured swine happened in 1941. So it really wouldn't have helped us anyway because all the years are afterwards. But I'm going to say 42, maybe, possibly, hopefully.
You got to marry that one. So you're marrying it, or are you just gonna fucking run?
Are you going to put a ring on it?
Oh, yeah, after it signs a prenup. Yeah, I'll put a ring on it. Okay, I'm gonna go with 42. Mainly because I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because I saw you guys ever see the show what is it? Fact or Faked? They try to recreate
Yeah, that was on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, I watched that recently. Someone had it posted online, and they had an episode about where they tried to recreate the Battle of Los Angeles, and I'm pretty sure, not recreate it, but see if it was possible to recreate it.
I see.
Upon the evidence that was given of it just being weather, meteorology balloons or whatever. But anyway, yes, I'm pretty sure it was 42, but it might have been 43. No, 42. Let's go with 42. 42.
All right, well, Brayton is putting a ring on 42, which seems a bit hasty. He's only just met that year, but here we are. Andres and Brayton, both
We're on the altar.
Yes.
We got married in like one of those drive-ins in Vegas where you can just get
With a shotgun.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a father involved. I don't know why you brought the shotgun, but hey.
Fun.
Andres and Brayton had the same answer with 1942, and they were both correct, which means the Brayton's 3.5-point lead remains. Score currently stands at Andres 3, Brayton 6.5.
So literally nothing has changed. Andres, you've achieved nothing. Well, you've done okay. You've stayed even, so you've achieved that. That's certainly commendable, Krillin.
Oh, gee, thanks, guys.
Skylab, the first American space station and problem plagued from day one. Skylab 3, the second crew to visit, consisted of astronauts Alan Bean, Jack Loosma, and Owen Garriott. Tasked with everything from maintenance to experiments, both scientific and medical, they also faced a number of crises during their short tenure, all of which were thankfully resolved. However, there was one popular one, which reported that one of them, did I put the name here? Yeah, Garriott, took photos of an anomalous object from Skylab's wardroom window that apparently followed them for a little over an hour. So we want to know what year this unidentified object that still hasn't been identified to this day, even though we have pictures of it. And it's just like this weird amorphous blob. But UFO nuts go crazy over it. What year did it happen? 2004, 1992, or 1973? I don't know who went first last time, so Andreas, tell me. I want to know. Will you show me?
So it was 2004,
1992,
1992, or
1973.
1973. I'm going to go the opposite and do a complete crapshoot and go with the most recent year, 2004.
Okay. UFOs stalking U.S. Space station sounds like a recent phenomenon to you?
Sure.
All right. Like I said, confidence is key. Brayton, where's your confidence lying today?
Okay.
Tattered on the floor? No.
Yeah, just about. But isn't it always? No.
It's relatable.
I don't want to go with the 2000s because I think I would be more cognitive of it if it was that recent. But I'm gonna go with 92 because I've heard the name. I just don't know when the mission was, and I haven't seen the photo. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with 92.
If you had seen the photos, you may have had a better idea that this was in fact a 70s incident. This was an early one. That's why it's so popular amongst UFO nuts, man. They just take their dicks out and they just stroke them to this story. They love it. Because they're just like,
oh my.
They're like, what else could it be? There could be nothing else in space at that time that we had up there that could account for it. And it's like, all right, calm down. It was a blob on a picture, all right? It followed them for a little bit. So, we don't know. But like I said, they go nuts over it, and it happened in 1973. But regardless, Dylan, you've got the next one. And the final one in this section.
Yeah, so this time it's an abduction story.
Fun.
Amy Rylance, who was 22 at the time, was with her husband Keith and their friend Petra at their home in Gundia, Australia. Petra was woken at 11:15 and went into the living room, where she was horrified to find Amy being carried in a sleeping position out through the window on a beam of light to a huge ship outside. So, obviously not a dingo. So they ruled that out immediately. Petra woke Keith, but by the time he entered the room, Amy was gone. The curtain was torn and the bushes outside were burned. The pair phoned the police, who struggled to take the claim seriously. However, around 90 minutes later, Keith received a phone call from a woman in Mackay, Queensland, which is an 8-hour drive from where they were in Gundia. She said that she was with Amy, who was in the hospital, dazed and dehydrated. No one could explain how she had traveled such a distance in such a short time. Amy was uninjured except for red marks on her upper thighs and heels. She said she remembered lying on a bed with tall figures leaning over her, reassuring her and taking samples from her. When she was found, her body had grown considerably, suggesting she had been gone for a much longer.
Hair. We should specify that. Otherwise, it sounds like she's like a Mr. Fantastic type.
Did I just say body?
You just said body, yeah.
All right. Body hair had grown considerably, suggesting she had been gone for much longer than the few short hours she was missing. So within the span of 90 minutes, she traveled 8 hours and apparently had been gone for much longer than she actually had. So did that happen in 2001, 2007, or 2015? Start with Brayton this time, because I think Andres went first last time.
It's hard when there's just two of them. It's hard to remember. It's because it doesn't even really matter.
No.
Okay, so what were the years again? 2015, 2001, and what was the middle one?
7.
Okay.
Lord, 7.
Yes. 7. Okay. 20. No, I don't think that happened. I feel if it happened so recently as 2015 again, I would have heard something more about it online or read something because it sounds really fucked up. 2001. Let me go with that. For no other reason other than I didn't see it online in 2015, and it just doesn't sound like something as recent as 2007 to me.
Nobody discussed it in World of Warcraft forums at the time.
Right, exactly.
And they would have.
Yeah. It wasn't on
there.
MySpace.
All right.
Yeah, where's Leroy Jenkins shouting that out?
Oh, what a time capsule that was!
She was
Good
being
job,
pulled out the
boys.
window. She was yelling, "Leroy Jenkins!"
As she's charging out. At least she's shouting that as she charges straight into that UFO.
Beam of light, yes.
All right, so he's going with 2001. Andres, extraterrestrials in the Outback. When do you think it happened?
Let's see. I'm going to go with, let's see. I feel like if it was in 2001, I should have heard about it. If it was...
Because you weren't 2 years old then, Andre, so you probably would have heard about it as opposed to me.
You would have picked up the paper in the morning and dropped your coffee and been like, I say, this woman.
2015, so I definitely would have heard that. 2007, the internet was really young and social media was barely starting to become a thing, but I had yet to adopt it until 2010. And information didn't spread as much. So I'm going to say maybe 2007.
Maybe or marriage. Marriage.
Marriage.
On her knee, Andres. You gotta make it, which is really weird because of gender roles. But anyway,
Listen, man. Anal is required for fucking marriage. The priest will tell you that.
it's a sacred bond. It really seals the deal.
When you get the license, the priest will be like, "Listen, did you guys fucking the ass yet?" Like, I mean, let's be real here. Listen, I was
And
young
then
once.
can I watch?
If you guys haven't, you better do that now. Better get that out of the way.
They should institute that law bill. I think they would lower the divorce rate. All right. So Brayton said 2001. Andres said 2007. Poor lonely 2015 is walking off into the sunset.
God, you guys left it so alone.
I feel bad.
But it turns out that did in fact happen in the year 2001. Maybe we just did.
Pre 9/11 too. So if that means anything to you.
I like how both of you were like, I would have definitely heard of it, and it happened in like Bumblefuck, Australia. Where
You're like, I'm very cognitive of the Outback and all the.
I feel like it would have circulated.
all the socio-political goings on there.
there must have been a big rush.
What was the big thing in 2007? Like Balloon Boy or something? Wasn't that a huge thing?
Peanut butter
that was
jelly
2000.
time.
I want to say Balloon Boy was 2009, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
the Richard Hindley Balloon Boy thing was later. Yeah.
I could go rewatch that Internet Historian video to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's 2009.
That was some wild
So
shit.
so the score currently stands: Andres 3, Brayton 7.5. David leaving early.
But it was
really-
a close race, Andre, so don't feel bad.
David leaving early really sucked all the tension out of this race.
No, but he's got Andre still has time. I mean, we still have quite a bit of game left.
You had no funding from corporations. You didn't have a super PAC, Andres. You held in there. Good
So
job.
if Brayton suddenly has a brain spasm, you'll definitely be in there.
Bill is like the kid from It, funnily enough, also named Bill, when it was so obvious that his brother was dead. He was like, no, he's out there.
I've devised this complex system to show you how. So Andres, don't prove my faith misplaced. I still have faith in you, pal. So here we go. Next section for you.
That was your first mistake.
We're gonna give you a series of locations. You must tell us which has allegedly been the scene for alien activity. So much simpler. Number 1, an underground alien base is supposedly located under which of the following cities? Dulce, New Mexico, Mobile, Alabama, or Salt Lake City, Utah? Andres, tell me. Prove it to me.
Show me the
I'm just
Carfax.
gonna go with I'm gonna go with Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay. Carfax received. Brayton, what are you sending me? What are you taxing me?
Okay.
Faxing me, I have to say.
Faxing you? Yeah, it'll be there in a minute. I'm thinking... Oh, damn it. Okay. I will go with... Arizona sounds like the obvious choice, and, nothing interesting happens in Alabama.
I don't know why Arizona sounds like the obvious choice, because none of them were in Arizona.
Yeah, no.
But then you say Arizona?
No, it was Alabama.
Alabama.
Mexico.
Mobile, it was
New Mexico.
Dulce, New Mexico, Mobile, Alabama, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay. I'll go with the New Mexico one.
You're going with Dulce. It's a great flavor ice cream, by the way. I get bitched
Is
at
it now?
I get bitched at for not having it in my store. So yeah,
Except dulce is just a generic word for candy in our language.
Dulce de leche is the flavor.
Dulce de leche. Okay, that's the shit. Good. That's the good shit.
Yeah.
Can't-
Trust me, people tell me, and they're like, "Do you have it?" I'm like, "I'm sorry."
Wait, candy of milk? Is that what it's candy of milk?
Yeah, it's kind of like a bit of like a very sweet caramel like taste.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like a cake?
It's like a caramel flavored ice cream kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andres is a big fan, if you can't tell.
But are there aliens there? That's the question that Brayton is really wondering in his life.
Andres,
right
if this
now.
stuff is so delicious, why didn't you bring any when we were trying Mexican candy that time, you fucking asshole?
He did.
Because I like torturing you guys with the bitter kind, which is my preferred favorite Mexican candy.
You brought some.
We got stuck.
You brought some good sweets.
Oh, yeah, I
was
brought some.
I was
Yeah.
surprised how much of it I liked.
Those fucking things it was like caramel, but it was in like a tortilla.
Yeah, I think
because of course it was.
That's the leche stuff. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I ate the fire out of some of those.
But the question is, are there aliens under it? So let's find out. Unfortunately, there are no aliens under Salt Lake City, Andres, and there are no aliens under Mobile, Alabama. But Brayton,
man.
there are indeed aliens under Dulce, New Mexico. So you are.
Are
right.
there
You
now?
get a
I'm
no.
going to grab a shovel.
8.5 points to Brayton. Even though a alien base hidden under Mobile, Alabama would certainly explain a lot.
Certainly solve some problems. So next one, Dylan.
Yes. In which city does a cement factory and a ranch form a supposed front for a U.S. military alien cooperation?
Oh.
Is that in Hope, Arkansas, Jerome, Arizona, or Fort Myers, Florida? I guess Andres, go. I don't even fucking hear. Andres, you.
Let's see. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. In which of these cities does a cement factory and a ranch form a front for U.S. military alien cooperation? As Michael Jackson would say, allegedly, is it Hope, Arkansas, Jerome, Arizona, or Fort Myers, Florida?
Ooh. I'm stuck between Florida and Arizona.
Because of course Florida, right? You have to try Florida.
Okay, I'm going to go with Florida. There's so much crazy shit in Florida. Why not?
I talked him into Florida.
All right, Brayton. Arkansas, Florida, Arizona. What do you think?
I'm gonna buy a piece of that Florida property. Let's go with Florida.
You better hurricane-proof it, man.
Oh God.
Well, was that a reference to the recent film with Willem Dafoe? That's Florida.
You better question and answer-proof it too. Dylan, tell him why.
No, wait, that was Florida Project. Yeah, I don't think that won anything. Got nominated.
Florida, wasn't that the Disney World code? Never mind. The Florida Project. Go ahead.
Was that when
Go
the
ahead.
kid got eaten by the alligator?
From what I understand, the whole movie is about like some poor kids who live in like a hotel, and it's like right next to Disneyland, and it's like they can't go in, and it's very sad.
Oh yeah, that was on Netflix for a while. That was weird.
And Willem Dafoe was there. Anyway, you're both wrong. It was as our president is off to say, wrong, because it's Jerome, Arizona.
China.
It's China.
Jerome, China. Damn right.
I'm gonna go on
in
Twitter and
China.
complain about you.
When the extraterrestrials send visitors, they are not sending their best.
They're always sticking shit up our asses. It's horrible. Rapists and criminals.
And sure, some of them are good.
Well, when you're a celebrity, they let you do it, so it's strange.
We're gonna build a dome.
We're gonna build a dome.
We're gonna build the Shatter Dome.
We're gonna build the Thunderdome.
And then we will go beyond it.
Oh man.
Well, we've really succeeded here. So next one, guys. Air Force pilot blacked out in pursuit of a UFO over which of these northern cities? Fargo, North Dakota, Great Falls, Montana, Baltimore, Maryland. Brayton, where are we at?
Was it a UFO the size?
I'm sorry that you cut out there.
You did.
Of a battleship? I was making a Giant Claw reference. I apologize.
Oh,
Okay.
never
As big as a
apologize for that.
I really don't know, but I'll go with Fargo because I like the movie, and I've been by Fargo. It's a strange place. It's like Discount Canada. It's weird.
Bill had the same reasoning for including it in the answers. Andre.
Let's see. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
An Air Force pilot blacked out in pursuit of a UFO over which of these northern cities? I don't know why I'm repeating this question. This was Bill's question. Is it Fargo, North Dakota, Great Falls, Montana, or Baltimore, Maryland?
Ooh, North Dakota, Montana, or Maryland. 3 states I know nothing about.
It wouldn't be the strangest thing that ever happened in Baltimore.
Neither did the person who reported the sighting, probably though. So you know what? You're probably on the same playing field.
Fuck it, South Dakota.
It's North Dakota.
There's a big difference.
Sure. Whatever Dakota.
So you guys,
West Dakota.
Dakota Fanning.
Point is, you guys both get a point. You both concurred on that one. It was Fargo.
No, they didn't.
No,
Wait, yeah, they did.
yeah, they did.
Sorry.
They both picked the Dakota one. It was Fargo. Fargo. Discount Canada, as Brayton put it. So they both get a point.
Andres, 4 points. Brayton, hold on, I'm counting. 9.5.
That was a good sign. It's like I have to compute all
Yes,
this.
I've just
At this point, Brayden can just pick whatever answer I'm gonna pick, just so that he can always
I'm
stay.
just asking you to support me in the general election now, Andres. Just give up, man.
I'm the Riddler counting the money in the van, and I'm just like, I lost count.
Yes.
Wearing a fucking tiara for some reason. Am I next?
Yes.
Okay. So this next one is a pretty famous case. We were once told about it in great long detail on this very podcast. Where did the Barney and Betty Hill abduction take place?
I know this.
I'm so fucking excited.
Was it in Calgary, Alberta, Lancaster, New Hampshire, or Schenectady, New York? And I'm going to assume that Bill spelled that correctly.
I copied and pasted it from Google, so. You gotta pick one of them. They're both.
I was born about 5 minutes from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Trust me, nothing interesting happens there, Andre. So you can narrow that down.
Let's see. Can you name the last one was New York, but what were the first two?
Calgary, Alberta, which Brayton says nothing interesting ever happens there, but he could be trying to throw you off. Lancaster, New Hampshire, or Schenectady, New York.
I'm going to go with New Hampshire.
All right, that's one vote for the great state of New Hampshire. Brayton.
New
It is, in
Hampshire?
fact, New Hampshire. New Hamster.
All right. It was indeed New Hampshire. Andres, 5 points. Brayton, 10.5.
Remember, the beast who brought it up here on the show originally is from New Hampshire, so it makes sense.
You guys have just decided to become lemmings, just locking hands and jumping over cliffs together, hoping for the best, and regardless of the results.
That's pretty much what we do with audio synchronicity every month. So yeah, it kind of bleeds over.
Well, let's see how you fare here.
It's like that moment from Battle Royale where that couple just jump off the cliff. We're like, fuck it.
In 2003, there was a tiny alien mummy discovered, and it's become infamous since then. I'm sure you guys have seen pictures of it online. There was a Netflix documentary about it. I think it was called Sirius or something like that. It's like I said, you've definitely seen the pictures online. But where was it found, or supposedly found? La Naria, Chile, San Martin de los Andes, Argentina, Isla del Sol, Bolivia. Those are your three options.
The Sons of Zazubaar podcast would like to apologize to the residents of these areas for Bill's pronunciation of their hometowns.
And stick up a finger to Dylan.
Let's see.
I'm gonna go with. I'm just gonna go with Chile because that's the only one I can pronounce. But I'll just throw that out there.
La Naria, Chile. All right.
Yeah.
Andres, how you feeling?
Let's see. I'm going to go with Chile as well. That sounds about right.
Lemmings. You guys are lemmings, and it's paid off for you again. God damn it. I hate you both. Yes, you both get a point. It was La
We're not
Naria,
competing
Chile.
against each other. We're competing with each other as a team.
Fuck it.
Do you even want me to continue keeping score at this point?
We only have a few more to go, so you might as well keep it up.
All right. Right now it's 6.
We're changing sections now, so maybe this will fuck them up.
Oh,
Yes. Okay, so this section is titled...
Take my hand, Andres.
In Bill's typical classy fashion, this next section is called Fucked Up Alien Sightings.
Oh, I love it.
We will briefly recount 3 extraterrestrial encounters, only one of which was truly reported. The other 2 have been altered or completely fabricated by us. You must discern between the 2. Now, when it says fabricated by us, it means fabricated by Bill. So look for writing mistakes. Okay, number 1.
So one is true, the other 2 are false?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so number 1, the Underground Alien War. A former government geologist claims that the U.S. government has been building a series of complex military bases underground since the 1940s. During construction, they accidentally discovered a race of violent humanoid gray aliens living in a subterranean cavern, leading to the deaths of over 60 people.
That's the plot of Resistance.
That sounds
Man.
like an Ashiro Honda movie. That's
I really hope that guy was interviewed by Dr. Silberman from Terminator. The Peter and Ellie Dorn affair. In the mid-'80s, Peter and Ellie Dorn were driving home from marriage counseling when they claimed they were forced to stop by several strange figures standing in the road. Next thing they remembered was lying in bed at home the next morning. There was no evidence of what happened in between except for the state of their clothes and the dreams that followed. The couple claims they never needed marriage counseling again. Yes. And the extreme pain in their ass, which led to a new kink. So that's good.
That's why they never needed marriage counseling again.
And finally, earliest ET report: retired Colonel H.G. Shaw of London was traveling to Scotland in 1896 when he claims an enormous cigar-shaped object flew overhead and forced his carriage off the road. Moments later, he purported that several aquiline figures. Wow, it's a big word, Bill. Aquiline. Figures appeared at the side of the road and attempted to abduct him. However, he was armed, and though he says his bullets didn't do any physical harm, the figures did return to their ship. So, which one do you think is real? The Underground Alien War, that would so make a great episode of Doctor Who. The pretty basic alien abduction story involving severe ass pain, or the retired colonel fighting off aliens with his primitive pistols. Brayton, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going with the second one because the other 2 just sound too awesome to be true. So I'm gonna throw in my hat in with the pain in the ass story.
Damn it! I'm gonna go with the.
One of them sounds like Because one of them sounds like a great, like classic Toho film that was never made. Then the other one sounds like an amazing, like just low budget trauma movie that was never made. So I'm gonna go with the second most mundane, pedestrian, if you will.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Hitchhiker
as
aliens.
well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the hitchhiking, butt raping aliens because
Right.
it just sounds the most boring,
So you're
which
going-
is sad when you think about it.
Butt raping hitchhikers from outer space. Yeah.
You guys
It's
don't.
mundane of all the stories.
You guys don't have enough faith in the excitingness of life, because only one of these was truly reported, and it was the Underground Alien War.
Really?
Yep.
So either some really cool secret shit went down, or this guy was fucking nuts.
This guy had a fucking story too. It was we compressed the shit out of it.
Or he was knuckin' futz.
Potentially that.
He was dyslexic, so he was nothing.
So your lemming behavior fucked you up on that one. So see, it's come back to bite you in this section. So let's
Guess
see how
so.
it continues. Picnic ruined by a meteor. In
Isn't it? Aren't they always?
In 1955, Bernard Porter and his family were paying their annual visit to a secluded beach in Southern California. This time, however, there had recently been a meteor crash landing nearby. Unable to avoid investigating, they discovered several pale figures in concealing suits nearby. Porter's daughter has been missing ever since, and he is the only one who recounts events this way. Number 2, the Jesse Long story. At just 5 years old, Jesse was abducted by ETs who extracted samples of his semen, and in 1990 presented him with a child that had been crossbred with an alien female. Since, he says he has met 9 of his hybrid children. Finally, the horrifying life of Claire Grady. Spending years working her way up through the English Ministry of Defense, Claire recounts a drive home from work that resulted in her driving through a parking garage with no memory of how she got out, with only a red triangle on her stomach as a clue. She later had dreams of sex with tall, dark figures in zero gravity. All right. So, you have Picnic ruined by a meteor, the Jesse Long story, Claire Grady's horrifying life. Andres, which one?
I'm gonna go with the meteor ruining picnic, the meteor ruining the picnic, and the child abduction.
Okay.
That's the fake ones or the true one? What? Wait, which?
That's
how are we
the
doing
true
this?
one.
That is the
Okay.
one that you are supposing is real. This one always
Yeah.
trips everybody up. Everybody forgets what they're looking for. But yeah, you guys are looking for the real one. All right, Brayton, how about you? How you feeling?
As much as I hate when Ghidra screws up your picnics, I'm not going to go with that one. I didn't go with the most outlandish one last time, so I'm going to go with the most outlandish one this time and say that it's the, what was it, the kid who was abducted and then been children later in life by
The
aliens?
Jesse Long story. Samples of his semen were taken, and he was presented with over 9 crossbred children.
God, yeah, I'm going to go with that.
So you think that's the true one?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll see how that fares for you, pal. All right. So, the real one was indeed, and we use that term loosely. Yep. That kid supposes that at 5 years old, semen was taken from him, and he had many alien children over the years. He's an old man now, and he's like, oh, I don't care if anybody believes my story, but he probably does. He cares.
That hurts him on the inside when people don't.
He hurts his semen.
Oh, dear.
When Dylan and I first read the story, our problem was, how can you have semen extracted at 5? You don't start really producing it until 10. That's what I learned as well anyway. So we figured that like if any of you guys were keen enough, you might use that, but nope. No.
Yeah.
But Brayton, it still paid off for you. So Brayton, you got another point.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Can I give a point to Andres out of goodwill?
If you want to.
He's denied of so many points. Wait, how many questions do we have left? That'll determine if I want to give him my point or not.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 more.
Oh, dear God. Okay, I'm going to keep my point then.
Just in case. Because there's still time for him to kind of pull some fancy footwork.
Yeah.
All right, so Dylan, this is the last one of this section. Dylan? Is he BRB? And when
Yeah, he says BRB.
Oh, okay, I missed that. The thing didn't alert me. All right, so we better carry on. He'll be back because we're gonna run out of time otherwise. So let's do the Kevin Creedy story. On a recent Valentine's Day, Creedy was sharing a hotel room with his lover when he claims that a blue light came into their room and disturbed their sleep. Soon after, Creedy claims a small creature came into the room and attempted to assault his girlfriend. He fought the creature off. However, there was no evidence the next morning, and his girlfriend had no memory of it. Next up, the V-neck alien. Cynthia McDonald was awakened in the middle of the night several times in her childhood by extraterrestrial visitors. She claims they always exchanged gifts, the creatures had a high-pitched, warbling laugh, and they wore distinctive black torso coverings with V's cut into them. McDonald believes they stopped visiting her due to her beginning to have boys over as she got older. Finally, the Travis Walton case. Walton disappeared in 1975 in the company of 6 fellow forestry workers who claim he was shot into the air by a beam of light. Police suspected them of murder until Walton later reappeared, claiming to have escaped from orange-robed midget aliens planning on enslaving him as they had hundreds of others on the ship. That's the Travis Walton case. So it's that, the Kevin Creedy story, or the V-neck aliens. Brayton, which one do you think is
Oh my
real?
god. I don't know. These all sound ridiculous. It's hard.
That's why we picked them. We wanted to make it hard. We challenged the mind and believability.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the fashion-forward V-neck aliens. But then again, yeah, I'll go with that one because I don't know, so I'm gonna throw my. I feel comfortable with that choice though.
You feel confidence with your ignorance.
Right. Yes.
Perfect.
I've come to an agreement with my ignorance.
Andre,
Let's see,
how about you?
Just to be different for once, I was going to go with the V-neck aliens, but I'm just going to go with the first one.
The Kevin Creedy story?
Right.
Okay. So you're believing that aliens committed assault. You're believing in this Me Too story.
Yes. Or maybe this is a conspiracy where the woman's like, "What? I don't remember that. No, you're crazy. I didn't sleep with anyone besides you. No.
Yeah, it's like
you're just crazy."
Well, neither of it paid off for you guys. It was indeed the Travis Walton case in 1975. That one was a wild one. That's been included in stuff that's not connected to UFOs, like crime books talk about that case because it's bizarre disappearances and stuff that are unexplained.
Yeah.
So you can find that one in many different places.
I have returned. I had to step out. Has the score changed?
No, neither of them got a point on the last one. But hang
cool.
on. Wait a second. Did Brayton get one on the last one? I believe you did. Yeah, Brayton, you guessed the Jesse Long story on the last one. So you got a point on the second question for this section. Did you get that one down before you were BRB?
No, but I've got it now. Okay, so that's
Perfect, so we're good.
12.5 now for Brayton.
How many does Andres have?
6.
Oh, okay, so it's closer than I thought. So that's good.
How bad did you think it was?
I thought Andres still had 4. The next, so Dylan, go ahead and read the next one. We're changing sections.
Yes, same premise, but this time 2 of them are fake. No, 2 of them are real, and only 1 of them are fake. You gotta tell us which one is fake.
We're only gonna do one like this.
Okay.
Okay. So
2
first,
are real, 1 are fake. You guys are guessing which one we altered or made up completely.
Mm-hmm.
all right. So first of all, the Memento, not the Christopher Nolan movie. In 1988, Peter Corey claims that 3 blonde-haired female aliens visited him in the middle of the night, engaged with him sexually. Are you noticing a theme? And left a strand of their hair wrapped around his penis. He later had the strand tested and claims it came back as non-human. Second, which Bill has titled the fire-crotched alien, which makes me very happy.
Oh no.
In 1957, Antonio Boas claims that he attempted to outrun a UFO on his tractor. To no effect.
I love that part.
I mean, he was on a tractor before he saw it, to be fair. You got to work with what you got. To no effect, however, since he was taken aboard the ship and forced to have sex with an alien with red pubes to create a hybrid. He later suffered from radiation sickness. I know, what a fucking tragedy.
What a fucking drama, right? What a life.
It's like one of those students who's like, man, my hot teacher slept with me, and I'm like, oh, you poor boy.
You're dying of radiation sickness.
And finally, the hypnosis session. A man and his wife, after having a strange experience where an entire day elapsed with them having no memory of it, visited a hypnotist. The hypnotist, hold on, I gotta scroll down, helped them subconsciously retrieve their memories of that missing time, all of which consisted of the couple being strapped down and stabbed with various experimental instruments. All right, 2 sexual ones, one non-sexual one, unless you consider being stabbed sexual. Not going to judge you. Which one do you guys think is fake? The memento, the fire-crotched alien, or the hypnosis session? Andres.
I'm going to go with the middle one, because I think I may have heard the third one before. Interesting.
Very interesting. Brayton.
Yeah, the third one is the Barney and Betty Hill case, if I'm not mistaken. For the fake one, let's see, there was the guy with the hair wrapped around his dick, right? And then there was the tractor racing, red pube fired crabs having guy who had radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. What a shit card he was dealt.
Radioactive crabs, if you remember.
They were big.
Yeah, that one just sounds too exciting to be true. Well, okay, I'm gonna say the first one was what am I guessing now?
You're guessing which one's fake.
Which one is fake? The guy with the hair wrapped around his penis, the tractor, or the hypnosis session?
Yeah, I'll go with the second one then for being fake.
Interesting. Okay, so what I think may have happened here, Bill, I think you accidentally tricked them in a way that you didn't mean to. I think in your attempt to fake one, you accidentally wrote a story that was extraordinarily close to the Barney and Betty Hill case, which threw Brayton right the fuck off, because number 3 was actually the fake one.
What?
Both of those other stories were reported. Fun fact.
Those were dead on. We copied them word for word.
Fun fact, the guy on the tractor who had sex with the red pubed alien later went on to become a lawyer.
Did he sue the alien?
A radiation-sickened lawyer, but a lawyer nevertheless.
On a slightly sadder note, you may have noticed a lot of sexual themes involved with these alien abduction stories, and there is a popular psychological theory suggesting that people who claim to have been abducted by aliens are really just repressing memories of sexual abuse at some point in their childhood and transforming their Uncle Jim into a gray alien.
Right.
Not Uncle Jim.
You're not poor old Uncle Jim. But the vagueness on the third one.
He always gave the best massages.
Well, yeah, like if you were to describe, you guys hear about this Barney and Betty Hill story? It's about these two.
That was the real one. So that should have been your hint that there were no names.
Damn it.
And also Barney and Betty Hill. They in the moment they knew something happened. They just had no idea what. The hypnotist only gave them an idea of. Mm-hmm. So this is what you guys told me when you were under hypnosis. What do you make of that?
Yeah.
Now
I guess I gotta get my gun. I was screaming about it for 5 minutes.
The one that we faked was actually based on a story that we did find, but he faked it up quite a bit. It was a teenage girl, I believe, who woke up one day realizing that an entire day of her life had gone by and she had no memory of it. There was writing on her calendar from that day. Her friends said that she had been acting strangely that day.
Oh, right, yeah, that was the more direct inspiration. That one was fucking weird too.
And she didn't actually go to a hypnotist, but she was considering going to a hypnotist. But she was having dreams that suggested some sort of alien abduction story, or perhaps creepy uncle.
All right.
There's always a creepy uncle.
That's the lesson.
Yeah, I mean that's what I took away from Werewolf of Carl Place. He left you an axe. You know?
That was the metaphor I was playing with.
Interesting.
Foreshadowing.
Andres, you've got 5 more shots to impress us. So let's
sounds like too much work.
Let's see what you can do.
But Bill, even if he gets all 5 of them right, he won't catch up to Brayton.
Let's see what he can do. What is a closing? So these are kind of our closure one and done questions. So this is breaking down some of the different close encounters that are known. What is a close encounter of the fourth kind specifically? Is it an abduction? Is it sex with an alien? Or is it chit chat with an alien? Andres, try to impress me.
Let's see.
Do your magic trick.
If Steven Spielberg has taught me anything, it's that the third in kind is just being abducted. So having sex with them would be the fourth one.
All right, Andres, so that you're jumping up, you're jumping up in the margin. Is it enough? We'll find out. Brayton, how do you feel? What is a close encounter of the fourth kind?
Let's go with the sex part, too, because that seems to be a reoccurring thing here. You know what? No. Just to be different from Andres, I'll go with the chit. And this has stabbed me in the other games that we've played on previous episodes. But I'm going to go with the chit-chat, perhaps. Though I'm fairly certain that's not... No, let's go with the sex. I've changed my answer back to the original one. Sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about... That's the right answer.
All the good things and the bad things that may be. I've never heard somebody struggle so hard between chit-chat and sex. That's never a decision that has
Especially when they've been wrong, unfortunately. Yeah, Close Encounters of the Third Kind is communication, my dear lads. Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind is abduction.
Okay.
Yes. So
you got to go to that fifth kind for some of the little...
We went straight to the sex, Andre.
Okay, so the movie was about... Okay, so when they were... So in the movie, when they were like doing the beat boobs to each other... Yeah, that's it.
So they had Bill Cosby out there doing the beat boobs.
Beep bop doop boop bop. You see...
Now, you guys have another shot, though, to find out which one's the sex. Now, what's a close encounter of the sixth kind? Is it psychic contact with an alien? Is it being killed by an alien? Or is it becoming an alien's side hoe?
I like how specific that is. Not even the alien's bottom bitch, the side hoe.
Brayton? Sixth kind. What is it?
Side hoe?
You sound so scared. Because you know if you guess if right, that's what's gonna happen to you. All right.
Yeah.
Andres, how about you, pal?
I'm gonna go with the first one.
Psychic contact with an alien.
Yes. You see, he's going to rape your mind with
Let's take this drink first.
I really doubt that whatever intellectual from whatever fucking organization wrote these said. And then the sixth kind of encounter is becoming an alien's side hoe.
Well, they didn't use that terminology, but it's
they did not.
It's a no strings attached kind of thing.
No strings attached to the wording.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it wasn't the psychic contact and it wasn't the side hoery. It was the killed by an alienness. That is Close Encounters of the Sixth Kind, and that one fucked with me. I didn't realize that had its own specific ranking when somebody dies by an alien's hand. And I wonder if anyone's ever actually reported that and how the police handle it.
Not
help,
the person
help,
who actually
I've been killed by an alien.
Yes.
I don't think
can't
anybody...
get up.
That's like calling the 911 and being like, help, I've been murdered.
I've been deaded. Somebody, send somebody quick.
Come quickly. All right, this next one is apparently very popular. What is a close encounter of the seventh kind?
Oh, man.
Is it visiting another planet or interstellar travel of any kind? Is it contact with inorganic life, such as robots, AI, etc.? Or is it the creation of an alien-human hybrid via sexual or artificial reproduction?
Jesus.
Brayton, what do you think?
Okay, hold on. God, if 6 is being killed by one, how much grander do you get than that?
I don't think it's so much a progression as it is just a list of categories.
True. So what's worse than being killed by an alien? Go through them one more time again for me.
Is it visiting another planet or interstellar travel of any kind? Is it contact with inorganic life, such as robots, AI, etc., like at the end of the movie AI? Or is it creation of an alien-human hybrid via sexual or artificial reproduction?
Okay. I'll say visiting another planet. Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that as well. Visiting another alien planet.
Well,
We're both hopping in the same starship and flying away.
Let's visit a planet. Let's be like the kids from Gamma versus Giron. Andres, you can be the Asian one.
Let's jump in a random guy's spaceship and see what happens.
Unfortunately, a person who has encountered or had a close encounter of the seventh kind, the only other planet they visited is the planet Poontang, because the answer is creation of an alien-human hybrid via sexual or artificial reproduction.
The one you wanted the
Snooki.
whole time, guys. This is the one. Close Encounter of the Seventh Kind is sticking your penis in there.
Oh man.
That's
And they're whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now that's the sequel we need, Spielberg. Get on it.
Dylan, why don't you do the next one as well? I read for 2 before, so.
All right. Which U.S. president had their own UFO encounter? It was Bigley. Was it Richard Nixon, Teddy Roosevelt, or Jimmy Carter? Andres. Will be the Crook, the Teddy, or the Peanut Man.
I'm sure. Was it? Teddy's got some interesting stories.
He
So I'll
does.
go with him.
He did believe in Bigfoot, so you got that.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. But I believe it was Jimmy Carter who saw the UFO, or supposedly, anyway.
Yes. As Andres said, Teddy did have some very interesting stories, but they were all about Bigfoot and UFO. The UFO
He ain't
craze
got
wasn't.
time for that UFO alien shit. It's all about the feet.
And he was also very much pre-UFO phenomena. It was, in fact, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
Presumably on his peanut farm.
Nobody believed Nixon had the imagination for a UFO encounter.
Who broke into the Watergate building? The aliens did it.
These fucking crooks!
I have never had a close encounter of the third kind. I have, however, had a close encounter of the seventh.
I made sure they stayed far away from my ass.
I have not been probed.
I'm
All
not a
those
rape
aliens you won't have me to fuck with anymore. Well, fun. Was I right? Hold on, I didn't know if I was right or not.
Well,
You were right.
Okay.
You were right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is actually pretty popular. So your UFO knowledge is definitely paying off this time, because a couple of them you're like, oh, I've heard that before, and I'm like, fuck.
I've heard of that one.
Bastard.
With Jim Cotta. Yeah.
Yeah, that one did turn out. The government made sure to prove he was wrong, because they didn't want a president fucking going around saying that he had seen a UFO. So this time it seems to actually have been a weather balloon.
Yeah.
They kind of proved that. So good job, Brayton. So there's only one more left.
Okay.
So where are we at, Dylan?
Brayton currently has 13.5 points, and Andres a little behind with a respectable 6.
Okay. So here's what we'll do. Make the next one worth 20 points.
Oh, dear God.
So, Brayton, if you win by a lot. You win bigly. And Andres, if you win, this is your last shot.
This seems so familiar to me, as if it happened the last time I was on this show.
That's how Andres wins these. He does really bad the whole game, and then he wins the last one.
Yeah, then he pulls out a fucking crane technique kick on me and wins the whole thing.
But Brayton, even if you tie, you'll still win the whole game. So it's not like if you tie, he's gonna catch up to you, and then we'll have to go again. So it's just for fun. You'll still have crushed him the rest of the time. So your ego will be too bruised. So, which of the following celebrities claims to have had an extraterrestrial encounter? Was it Muhammad Ali, Nathan Lane, or Chris Pratt? Andres, you have a chance to win now. So how do you feel?
Chris Pratt. He seems like the kind of person who would be very open about that.
Okay, he's on his
Then he
island.
had a dance off with him.
Yeah, that's how we solve the problem.
Yep.
Brayton, to defend your
Motherfuckers, I know that it was Muhammad Ali who had an encounter or a UFO / incident thing, because I think that's a pretty infamous story amongst Muhammad Ali fans. Anyway, I'm a huge follower of his entire life and career, and he's
Really now?
It's funny because you would
yes.
think it's funny because
you know about this, Andres. I cried when he died. Remember that Skype chat? That was emotional.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's interesting because out of these three celebrities, you would think the one most likely to remember an anal probe would be Nathan
Star-Lord?
Lane.
Oh, that's...
I mean, the birdcage. I mean,
Well, you know.
some probing going on there.
Bill, first of all,
Brayton?
Brayton's right.
Well, Brayton, your knowledge of extraterrestrials turned out to be pointless. All you needed was that Muhammad Ali knowledge.
Tell him
That was the thing. See,
I think
I'm
he's
knowledgeable
such a-
about people who've had encounters with
All right,
alien
here's what else. Here's what else I want you. How many times did Muhammad Ali claim to have an encounter? How many?
I knew he's seen him more than once. I want to say it was. I'm sure it was over because it is an outrageous amount. I think it was over. It's at least over 10.
16. He claimed.
16.
Yep,
Yeah.
That's how many times he claimed to encounter.
There's
He
a-
says he
there's
saw
a
them
new-
a lot more.
Mhm.
there's a new factoid to add to your Muhammad Ali spank bank. So,
Oh
Andres,
my God.
He says he had it already, but now he's got more specific numbers. So,
Yes, I knew it was over 10. I didn't know it was 16. My God.
so
Brayton,
Brayton, you were able to maintain your lead throughout the entire time. Congratulations, you won the Sons of Serizawa UFO alien abduction trivia challenge.
Yes.
here he is, the biggest douche in the universe.
You won the anal probe. How does it feel?
How does it feel to win, or how does the anal probe feel? I don't want to go
Both.
into detail about that. Okay, I'm getting a slight stinging sensation. That'll pass down over time, I hope. But no, it
it'll
feels.
probably numb after a while. The vibrations will just make the rest of your body just go numb.
I'm used to it at this point, but no, it feels great. It really does. It really truly does. You know, it's nice to win something every now and then, and not just have my victories ripped away from me by the likes of Andres and David. It's wonderful.
Well, it's a true victory too, because not only did you were still the winner when David was here, so you beat him. You held out like a
I held
motherfucker.
court. It was
And then even when I gave Andres like the total chance to fuck you over, you fucking kicked him to the curb.
I did it.
Like Oliver fucking Twist. Like you were a rich fucking
Yes.
man and he was a little whelp of a boy. You just kicked him to the curb. Be gone with you!
With a final score of 33.5 points.
Brayton fucked everybody else up. Oh, well, I mean, that was dramatic, to say the least, and I don't know about surprising, but it was certainly dramatic and filled with many surprises. So that was a lot of fun, though. I'm glad we finally got to do it. It was
Oh, yeah.
It was long in the planning stages, so it was definitely worth the wait.
Unfortunately, the rivalry still isn't satisfied because now Dave can simply argue that you only won because he had to leave early.
But see, he was in a losing position when he had the lead. I beat him there.
Right. So he forfeited. It was a true forfeit.
He was in the middle position. He was ahead of Andres at the time.
Well,
Let's not talk about positions when we're talking about alien probing in the same sort of sentence.
or David.
or David.
You don't want to mix our metaphors up. But this will not be the last time. We will bring all these motherfuckers back together again for a big rematch where we're all here for the whole thing. It'll be a new cryptid subsection. It'll be wild shit.
Yes.
Next time, we'll do sea monsters.
On Dragon Ball Z.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z, the Loch Ness Monster versus Champ. Which one's more true?
Ooh.
See, we'll do a sea monster grab bag. It'll be fun.
No. Is Ebira a bonus thing there? He's a sea monster.
If I can, well, I mean, I'll look for station themed ones. You'd think they're out there.
I hope so. Yeah,
They're pretty freaky.
they are.
Of all the shit that
They're like ocean crabs.
Of all
Or
the shit
ocean,
that-
ocean crabs.
Spiders.
Ocean
They're like
spiders.
ocean
That's what I meant.
spiders.
of all the weird shit that ancient people lied to each other about seeing every day, you'd think a big crab
Yeah.
would have been one, you know? Because they're walking into the woods, they smoke a fucking mushroom, they come out, they're like,
Sure.
I just saw a dude like materialize out of nothing. He told me to start a religion. It was weird, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for. So that'll be for next time though. So yeah, alrighty then. Who's got something to announce, something to shout out to the people?
Let's see. So I guess to carry on with what I was doing before, I like to promote our ongoing project, Kaiju vs. Cancer. Matt, Danny, and I are selling T-shirts in collaboration with a bunch of other Kaiju artists, writers, and other YouTubers, making kick-ass T-shirt designs based on our own original monsters. Our first T-shirt is still Doragon versus Atomic Rex, and so all the proceeds will go to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital to fight the greatest monster of them all, childhood cancer. And so if you were to simply Google custom ink Kaiju versus Cancer, you will immediately find our campaign. And let's see, as of this time, let me see here. Let's see, custom ink Kaiju versus Cancer. Just going to quickly take a look at our fundraiser to see how many days we have left to go. We have 12 days left to go with over 21 items sold. If you like to donate and you don't want to buy it, you're not interested in buying a shirt, you can simply donate $25 at the very least and send the t-shirt to one of the children over at St. Jude's Hospital themselves. And if you want the address, you can easily go to our official Facebook page of Kaiju versus Cancer. And if you're interested in our next t-shirt, it will be drawn by Tyler Souls, who will be drawing an homage to the ADB VHS cover for Destroy All Monsters, where it's going to be a lot of our monsters all together in this one beautiful, massive group shot.
And
so yeah, you can look forward to that.
Is that going to get like its own period of time? Then do they all get their own stretch of days, or how does that work? Because you said if this one's over. Okay, I see. So they all get their own stretch of time, and then they're done.
Right.
Okay.
Forever.
So that gives everybody an incentive then to buy each shirt. Before they go away forever. Okay, there you go. Right. It's incentive for you guys. You better get in there before that first one's really, really nice. That one's not by Chris,
Christopher
right?
Martinez.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it was done by Christopher Martinez. Yeah, okay. And good news, it looks like Christopher Martinez's GoFundMe campaign, which was started by his family, has been a success. They have now gone over their goal of $5,000. Thank you very much, everybody, for supporting them. But if you wish to donate more, you can always do that.
So the Sons of Serizawa Podcasting Network link is down in the description. All of the links to all of the different Kaiju versus Cancer donation boxes and all the information is on there, so you can get to all of them through that, as well as everything else that we always like to promote on here. So you definitely got to go look at that in order to keep in contact with all our stuff. So that would be your first wise decision of the day.
Oh, yeah, and if you want to check out more information on Kaiju versus Cancer or the state of Christopher Martinez and his future projects, you can check out the last two episodes of the last two episodes of the Shoe Watch podcast, where I interview or talk to Matt Denian and Christopher Martinez on two separate occasions to just talk about those very subjects.
So definitely support all of that, please. We definitely urge you to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Brayton, is there anything you want to announce? Anything in the pipeline?
Sure,
that you
yeah.
throw out there?
Yes, Andres and I will be recording episode 7, I believe, of Audio Synchronicity tomorrow, right? We're having that live stream tomorrow,
yes.
Andres? It's the last day of the month, so I hope so.
Yes.
That'll be our March episode.
Right.
Yeah,
with hopefully Dylan there as our special surprise guest, which is not really a surprise at this point.
Right, well, you know.
Unless this podcast comes out like the day after.
Yeah, because I still want to. I haven't filmed the intro that I want to put at the start of this episode, but so I need to get that done. But anyway,
yes, this will probably be a few days in the pipeline, so that'll probably go up before.
So we'll probably already have our live stream by then.
Yeah,
which you can check out.
Because you can listen to it
because
in
it was
retrospect.
Amazing.
after you finish this.
Yes,
we know our fans love technical talk.
It's their favorite.
What else? Okay, so I posted a few things on my and Shoma and I, talented artist Rap and Shoma and I are putting up a revolutionary, an enormous podcast, if you will, going up on April 1st. It's we put a lot of work into it. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge.
I'd like to believe you, but the date has me concerned.
Oh no, it's totally legit. What else is there? We're doing Waffle Man also, which
sounds
is a
less
breakfast.
legit now. No,
it's complete. It's totally legit. Totes.
Too legit to quit.
Right.
It's definitely all above board.
Yes. It's completely legit. That's why we specifically chose April 1st to upload it. But anyway,
right.
What else is there? We're working on Waffle Man, which is going to be a radio drama inspired by an episode of Audio Synchronicity. That's going up in the not too distant future. We've got everything recorded, all the sound effects done. We're just putting everything together, and we're on our way there to having it completed. It's going to be a half an hour long sort of comedic take on the 40s era superhero radio shows that you would hear, like whether it be like The Shadow or the old Superman radio show, sort of a spoof on that whole thing. When it comes to voice acting, I've been kind of busy. I'm the voice of Han Solo for a popular Star Wars motion comic channel, Crate Dragon Films. That's been cool. On my channel, I have a few things up there that I posted in the last couple of weeks. Not really. I don't upload recently because everything I try to upload and every serious project I try to upload on my channel gets taken down immediately. But what I have uploaded are I have a tribute video that I made sort of in an afternoon, a sappy tribute video to Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi, and I have a few green screen chroma key tests that I pulled off with my Mystery Science Theater robots riffing a short film about gestures when giving a public speech, and another scene from an amazingly bad movie called Jungle Captive. And that's about it at the moment. That's a mouthful.
Both sounds like things that people should have spent money on in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
Money well spent. Just to get your videos made. That's the only reason they made them.
Yeah.
All right, well, it all sounds awesome. Dylan, do you have any safety tips for anybody?
I would like to announce my candidacy for president. No, no safety tips other than avoid
the Noid.
Avoid the Noid, and also avoid aliens because they probably want to have sex with you. So don't avoid aliens.
So don't avoid them. Go right into them. Go right into them.
Go right into them.
Unless they go right into you.
Well, they might beat you to the punch. That's always a possibility.
Aliens not big on consent.
They don't have weeks of consent. Yeah, no.
But recently
it's just another word for Jell-O.
Recently on the Demons from Outer Space podcast, Bill and I did an entire month of reviews based around the theme of samurai films, other films inspired by samurai things. Samurai Month, as we called it. So if you haven't already, you can go check those out. That's about it.
That's the state of affairs. So you should go look into all those things. They are all worth your time for any and all reasons. And you're already watching this podcast, so that's about as much as I can ask from you. Maybe subscribe if you hate yourself. No. If you'd like to, I would certainly like to hear from you again.
The only legitimate reason to subscribe.
Alrighty then. So I think that's going to do it. Next time, we actually don't really have a concrete plan, but I'm sure Andres is going to have some news for us. And if nothing else, we'll do some more Ultraman commentaries, which I think you guys will love. So I think that's the plan for next time. Until then, I'm Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazubaar.
I'm Super DM64.
I'm Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir.
And Brayton Connor.
Holy fuck.
I haven't got a thing.
Fucking, it's so smooth when David's not here. He's not here just like, what am I supposed to say? What is life? Yes. What is reality? Why am I here?
Hey, the internet bows to no man till now.
Oh, wow, that was terrifying. Don't ever do that again.
Sorry.
I don't know who I am.
Is it any better or worse than the other impression you hate, Bill?
I don't know what you got. And it should go on Facebook like the Sons of Serizawa Network homepage.
Wait, was that supposed to be me?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Good.
He didn't say dude or totally or anything.
Oh,
yes. Or no.
Oh,
no.
No. The science is painful to my feelings and my memories.
It's dope.
Dope. The science is dope. That should be the new.